Okay, so can you hear? Is the sound working? Should be on now. Ahlan wa sahlan, marhaban, Sufyan. Welcome. Okay, let me know if you guys can hear the sound. It's showing up on my one, so hopefully it should work. Inshallah. Okay, up. Okay, yeah, so let me know if the sound's working. Let me see if you can hear it properly. If it's Chris, I'm just trying to get the chat sorted. Okay, that should work now. Alhamdulillah. Okay, let me just get this chat sorted and then we'll start, inshallah. Okay, so as usual, guys, you can ask your questions in the Curious Cat link, which is below, or you guys can ask your questions. Okay, let's see if I can get this live streaming on. Just wait for everyone else to come. So Said Ahmed, wa alaikum assalam. S. Hussein, wa alaikum assalam. Muhammad Saad, jazakallah khair. Allahu Akbar. So how is everyone doing? How is everyone coping with the isolation, or just staying at home basically? Wa alaikum assalam. Khan, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaban, wa kayfa halukum antum? MashaAllah, someone's in a Arabic mood today. Okay, so it should be up now. Yes, excellent. Alright, that's working then. Okay, that's in, that's done. Alright, now we can start with the questions now. So all the technicalities out the way, let's start off with the questions. There's only a few questions today, alhamdulillah. So let's see what kind of questions you guys come up with in the okay, so first question. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah ma'ahad. Okay, so let's go with the first question then. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Please, can you tell me the difference between the books of Dur al-Mukhtar and Radd al-Muhtar and Maraq al-Faiz? Actually, Radd al-Muhtar, not Mukhtar. The matan is called Dur al-Mukhtar, and the sharh or the hashia is called Radd al-Muhtar. Radd al-Muhtar. And what else? And Maraqi al-Falah. I see them quoted so many times in Hanafi question and answer websites. Please, can you give a brief explanation of each? Would love for you to teach one of these books. So these books, it's not as simple as just explaining what these books are about. These books fit into a whole collection of or works of Hanafi scholars throughout history, right? So when it comes to Hanafi fiqh works, and this is the same mostly with other madhabs as well. The works are divided into three categories. So you have what is known as the matans, which are like the condensed core texts, and then you have the commentaries on those matans, which are the sharh, and then you have a third category which is known as the hashiyas, yeah, and then after that you have a fourth category, you can say a fatawa, then you can say four categories. So you have matans, so for example Quduri is a matan, Wiqaya is a matan, Kanz is a matan, and so forth. And then you have the sharh, so Quduri sharh would most likely be Hidayah, or maybe even some other works that have been done by scholars. And then you have Tuhfat al-Fuqaha, that's the matan, and the sharh is Badaya al-Sanai'. You have Kanz is the matan, and then Bahr Ra'iq, and you have you have Durr al-Mukhtar, and the commentary or the elaboration on that, which is a brief elaboration, is known as the Rad al-Muhtar, right? And Maraqi al-Falah is the commentary of Nur al-Idah. So it's basically just a commentary. They're all kind of needed anyway, because it's all attempts of looking at how Hanafis throughout the years have like explained Masail, right? So they're all needed. And maybe I can do maybe we'll get some time this year, inshallah. I can maybe just go through like a series of going through what each Hanafi book, the specialities in there. I can do that. Okay, next. So, but generally, these books are, I mean, there's different things that you need from those books, because the authors approach the books in slightly different styles. Some of the things have like detailed masail that other book hasn't touched upon, right? So they're all kind of needed anyway. Do you have to have seen the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in your dream to know it's him, or can you have a dream and just feel like you were close to him during the time he was alive? Part of me thinks this can't be true as I don't do enough durood for him, but since my dream I have more of love for him, alhamdulillah. So seeing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a person's dream is a very, very, generally it's a very, very noble or honorable dream. But seeing the Prophet ﷺ doesn't always mean that it's a good sign. Sometimes it can be a bad sign as well. If you see the Prophet ﷺ in a state which is not normal, not nice, right? When he's sad, when he turns away from you, etc. But seeing him in the dream is a good dream. Scholars differ with regards to seeing the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever sees me in my dream has really seen me, because shaitan cannot take my form. Now, what does this mean? So if a person sees the Prophet ﷺ, does it mean he's really seen him? So some scholars say that he has to appear in the form that's been described in the books of Seerah, right, history. And other scholars, they say, no, it's actually in any sort of form. Let me just fix this a bit. So it's any sort of form. And so this is why, there's a difference of opinion. So I would say, if a person has seen the Prophet ﷺ in a dream and feels it's the Prophet ﷺ, then alhamdulillah, this is something which hopefully is the Prophet ﷺ's representation in the dream. It's not really him, obviously, but it's a representation, and it should be taken in a good way, inshallah. Okay, next. Salam Mufti. What is the ruling about covering the feet during Salat in Hanafi madhab? I thought there was a difference of opinion on this. My friend wants to see the evidence of the difference of opinion, if there is one. Yes, there is lots of. I mean, I can just read some out to you, right? This is a very common masala. I mean, the ikhtilaf in the Hanafi madhab with regards to the feet. So I'll actually read it out to you, because I might forget just to quote it later on. Okay, so okay, so okay, so just give me a second, inshallah. I'm gonna bring it up and I just recite these. Okay, so Okay, it's going to take me a bit of time to search for it. Okay, so والقدمين على المعتمد. So قدمين على المعتمد, her feet, meaning her feet are not awra. This is Ibn Abidin says على المذهب فظهر الكف ظاهر الرواية وفي المختلفات قاضي خان وغيرهما أن ليس بعورة وأيده في شرح بثلاث أوجه وقال فكان هو الأصح وإن كان ظاهر الرواية وكذا أيده في الحلية قال مشى عليه في المحيط وشرح الجامع قاضي خان واعتمد شرنبلاني قول على المعتمد من أقوال الثلاثة مصحة. There's three opinions in the Hanafi madhab with regards to the women's feet. First one is that it's not awra. ثانيها عورة مطلقة. The second is that it is awra, it has to be covered. And the third opinion is it's only awra outside of salat, not inside the salat. Right, so there's three opinions. أقول ولم يتعرض لظهر القدم وفي القحستاني and خلاص اختلفت الروايات, the opinions regarding the woman's feet, whether they're awra or not. في بطن القدم وظاهرها, and there was the sole of the foot and the top of the foot. أنه لا خلاف في ظاهره, there's no difference of opinion in the top of the foot. ثم رأيت في مقدمة and it goes on then. So if you look in Radd al-Muhtar Ibn Abidin, he mentions this. Yeah, so he mentions about the feet, right? So I mean, if you want the exact quote, then you're gonna have to send me a message on Curious Cat, and then I'll have to put it up in the week, inshallah. Okay, right. Let's check out the questions you guys have got. Have to remind myself what day is, losing sense of time. Yeah, definitely. I mean, staying at home, you even forget, especially with no Juma. Finally found a pack of bug roll at the shops. If you need any, let me know. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Yeah, subhanallah. It's like Eid. Okay, Ammar, mashallah, assalamu alaikum. Hey Hussein, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Mahad, is prayer still obligatory even if one is dying? And what if someone is constantly bleeding and still wants to pray, as bleeding invalidates wudu? Yes, so if a person is dying, salat is still necessary if they're in their senses. So if they're in their senses, salat will still be necessary. But a person's dying can pray in any state they want, right? They can pray lying down, etc. And if a person is continuously bleeding, then what they do is they do wudu once for the salat, and that wudu will last them. It's like an emergency wudu. It lasts them all the way until the next salat begins. Haydar Ali, salam. I have loads of questions. Hope you'll answer. I want to pick your brain on a few things. Yes, inshallah, you can ask, hopefully, if we get time. Kamran, assalamu alaikum. Wa ahlan wa sahlan, Kamran. Said Ahmed, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Can a person carry his child and pray salat? Can we use hand sanitizers? Okay, so can you carry your child? According to the Hanafi school, in the fard, you can't unless there's no other choice. So if there's no one to take care of the child, then you can. Otherwise, in the fard, no. But in the nafal, yes. In your sunnahs, in your nafals, you can carry them. Can you use hand sanitizer? Yes, according to Hanafis, you can use hand sanitizers even if they contain alcohol. This alcohol is not the alcohol which is prohibited in Islam, according to Abu Hanifa. This is basically a chemical compound that contains, certain types of molecules, COH. So that's why Abu Hanifa allows it. Muhammad Saad, can you share your thoughts on Ibn Nujaym's Ashbah wa Nadhair? Ashbah wa Nadhair is a very good book. This is a book for trying to present to the reader qawaid. It's basically based on qawaid. So it's generally a qawaid book, which is basically maxims in fiqh, principles, and how these principles are applied. Yeah, that's what it's basically designed for. Okay, so it's designed for that. And it's a very good book, but the only thing is that Ibn Abidin rahimahullah says that it's not a mu'tamad book in fiqh. So it's a good book for training, but it's not the masail in there. So if there's like a fiqhi masala mentioned in there, we can't use that fiqhi masala for fatwa. Fatwas have to be taken from the mu'tamad mutuns and the shuruhat. But it is an excellent book for learning and understanding application of qawaid. Okay, right. Next, Wasiq, wa alaikum assalam, Ustad Muhtaram, wa alaikum assalam, Wasiq al Muhtaram, al Netherlands, is it Netherlands? Holland? How's everything in Europe? Are you guys on lockdown as well? Ammar, what is your opinion on the book Lisan al-Quran? Very good book, very good to study. I haven't studied it myself, I've read through it. Very good. I mean, any book which is has Arabic rules and has basically principles is good, I would say. And that's a very a staggered sort of progressive book in a nice way. Hamza, does your 2 Balagha courses on Uruk cover everything that a person needs to know Balagha? Like, does it cover all the concepts of Balagha al-Wadiha? Balagha al-Wadiha, in my opinion, is not a good book to study for someone who hasn't studied Balagha before. It's designed for secondary school students in Arab countries, and it's designed for people who have lots of experience with Arabic language and who are Arabs, basically. And personally, I believe, like the opinion of many other scholars who came before, I believe Balagha is a science that is supposed to be for the Quran, right? It's supposed to be a Quranic science. And so what I've done in the 2 courses, I've designed the course focusing purely on Quran. So it covers all the topics that you need in Balagha for that. Yeah, so if you have seen basically my my Surah Naba, 19 lessons on Balagha. So I've gone through this whole of Surah Naba. I've covered all them, every verse. I've taken out all the Balagha points I could think of. So basically, if you read through that, that's basically what you'll be able to do by the end of it, hopefully. So by the end of that, you should be able to understand how to apply Balagha to Quran. And that's the whole aim of studying Balagha. The problem is a lot of people, when they study Balagha in schools, in madrasas, is they only study it like like I call these museum books. Like they only study it to tick off a box, and they have no understanding of how to apply it. It's just like someone asks a question, have you studied Balagha? And you go, yes. And you go, okay, if I give you a surah of the Quran, can you take out Balagha points for me? And you go, no. Well, then what was the point of studying it? It's like someone who studies to swim but doesn't know how to swim. Does that make sense? It's a very sort of like purely just theoretical, I mean, it's just, if you want to call it a waste of time, it wouldn't be very far to call that. But if you want to learn it properly, you must learn it with application. Key. Okay, MHA, Hamza's a good question, bro. Okay, Hamza Jundi, yes, Mufti, كيفك يا Jundi? ما شاء الله يا Thor. Okay, let's go down. Let's check out some more of what you guys are saying, man. Also, what are your thoughts on the book Al-Balagha Afnan? That's an excellent book. Rather than studying Balagha Wadiha, I think you should study this. Balagha Fununuha wa Afnanuha. This is written by Abbas, Fadl Abbas, and he's got a few other books as well, right? So Balagha Fununuha Afnanuha, and he's got a few other ones as well. Check them out. His books, and if you can get any books of Dr. Muhammad Abu Musa, right? Excellent works he's got on Balagha. Fantastic. And the Balagha course I've actually designed I've actually put a whole list of books that I've used, and I've used a lot of their books in there. I've read all their books from cover to cover. And I've taken out lots of stuff from there. Okay, Weza Beats. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A few days ago, I was reading tafsir of Surah As-Saf by Imam Qurtubi, and I have read يقال وقال ابن إسحاق وكان الذي بعثهم عيسى من الحواريين والأتباع بطرس وبولس إلى الرومية. Hence I wondered if Paul's... Yeah, it's referring to the same one. Bolts. That's how they say in Arabic. Because obviously Paul is not really an English name. Originally the Paul was in Latin was called something else, wasn't it? But yeah, that's what he's talking about. If it is him who is mentioned, then does it mean that Ibn Ishaq made an error here? So Ibn Ishaq وكان الذي بعثهم عيسى بن محاري واتباع بطرس وبولس. See, what's possibly happened is Muhammad ibn Ishaq has taken from a secondary text. That's what probably what's happened. So I mean, I don't know about Christianity that much to be able to go into depth about this. Maybe it's good to speak to someone who has a good expertise training in Christianity, classical Christianity, and understands how they work. So maybe it might be a mistake. You get lots of the kind of things, lots of kind of Israeliyat in tafsirs. So that's why you got to be very careful when you're studying a tafsir. I'd advise before you actually go into any Arabic tafsirs, always study one tafsir from someone. Otherwise, what will happen is you get very confused when you're reading the tafsirs. But yeah, so it's very common to find misquotations in tafsirs, misquotations. Aftab Hassan, where I found fiqh book free. Online, you can buy if you can find them free. Just type in any fiqh book you want and put PDF and you'll find it, inshallah. S. Khan, very interesting topic. Okay, MH, Heather Ali, hell no, Tafsir Kabir is no joke. You will need a few years of intense studying, not just Arabic but also of Islamic sciences. I'm grounded in Islamic science, just have zero Arabic. Okay, Aftab Hassan, Google search engine is earn from Google ads may be halal or haram, so working in Google halal. Working in Google, yeah, it should be halal. Yeah. Sufyan, can one choose to have an English will over an Islamic will? Also, if there is a married couple who have no children, how will the wealth be divided if either of the wife and husband passes away? So basically, this is a good question. If a person has, for example, if a person dies Islamically, right, Allah has already distributed their wealth. Then it's up to you whether you want to give it to them or not. And basically, whether you want to go according to what Allah has decided or whether you want to go against that. So, for example, let's say I die, then my family will get my inheritance. That's what Allah has decided. Now, if I want to write a will, and in my will, just to emphasize, I would like my wealth to be distributed according to how Allah has mentioned in the Quran, then that's fine. But if I decide to write a will and I want them to give it in some other way, I will be sinful, obviously, for that. But, Islamically, that's how it's supposed to be done. So you don't really need an English will. English wills are good for the law in this country. So by law, then they'll have to, the family will have to fulfill the wishes of the deceased. If a person has non-Muslim family members in the family, they can actually give 1/3 of their wealth to them. So a lot of people don't know this. So if I die and let's say I had a non-Muslim family member, I can actually give them, even if they're not my family, I can give anyone basically 1/3 of my wealth. I can give it to them. Yeah, that's allowed. So up to 1/3, no more. And then the rest, the other 2/3 go to the heirs. Okay. Okay, question here. Okay, is it permissible to stand to urinate if one is not going to pray? If one does not pray but stands and urinates with the clothing for prayer, but washes with tissue or wet tissue and is comfortable no more, is that permissible? Could you explain the hadith about the punishment for when urine drops come on one's clothes? What is the context of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ explaining? So, what's the ruling of a man standing up and urinating? According to the Hanafis, standing up and urinating for a man is allowed. It's permissible. It's just better not to do, right? So according to the scholars, they say, and this is most of the madhabs on this as well. So for a man, it's allowed to stand up because it's proven in hadith. The Prophet ﷺ on several occasions stood up and urinated. Ali radiallahu anhu was known. Umar radiallahu anhu, other Sahaba were known for urinating standing up. So it's allowed. It's better to sit down, obviously, right? Because it helps the drops of urine to come out. It helps them to come out. But yeah, it's permissible. As long as a person can avoid the drops going on their clothes and body, that's fine. As for the narration with regards to the Prophet ﷺ saying staying away from urine, this is obviously if a person is careless. So a person is careless and urinates everywhere and doesn't care where they urinate. But if a person obviously urinates in the toilet and is careful about the drops and everything, then it's fine. Yeah, it's allowed. Okay. Right, next. Okay. Do you recommend to read Quran in Arabic only, or in English and Arabic, or Arabic with commentary like Marif al-Quran? If you don't know Arabic, then in English, obviously. If you want to understand the meaning, then reading the English commentary is good. If you know Arabic, then I would suggest try the Arabic. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Okay. Okay, next. Okay. It's Imam Hussein's birthday. MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. Okay, Idris Shah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Okay. Mufti Sahib, is Talkhis a good commentary for Sahih Muslim? Talkhis? Which one's that? I'm not too sure about that. If you can tell me the author's name. Salam Miqdad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Mufti Ji, do you have good knowledge on Akhirul Zaman? It depends what you mean. I mean, are you talking about the hadith that are going to occur towards the end of time? Those kind of hadith. Is that what you mean? Akhirul Zaman? If that's what you mean, then yeah. Akhirul Zaman simply means hadith to do with the end of times or to the day of judgment. Those are in the Quran. Those are in hadith narrations. There's no special science to study for Akhirul Zaman. I know Imran Hussein, he kind of goes on about Akhirul Zaman. People don't study Akhirul Zaman. But I personally disagree with a lot of things that he says, because a lot of things that he says is just, he kind of like fits it onto his own sort of speculative sort of like theories, which are not really concrete. It's just if 10 people, took those hadith and ayats and tried to come up with their own conclusions, I'm sure each 10 of them would come up with slightly different things. So yeah, I mean, Ullukapatta, assalamu alaikum tullah. I'm early again. What's your advice for? So basically, your wife's asleep. What's your advice for haircuts and going to look like a jungly after quarantine is over? Yeah, I know. I heard about that. Yeah. So do like me. So basically, take your hair, put it like that, get scissors and cut it. Yeah, just do it yourself, bro. So you save money. Save £10 a haircut. Only the obstacle. Everyone's speaking Arabic. Okay. Okay. Wasik shukr. Alhamdulillah. Here in Holland is going well. We are in quarantine as well. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, sad everywhere, man. The whole world is just subhanallah. Look about that. You're pouting in your potot for the live stream. You're pouting in your potot. Oh, what's that? You caught the social media bug. You're pouting. What's that? I don't know. Is that on purpose? Have you caught? Oh, coughing. I don't know. I just felt this kind of coughing when I think one of you guys might have passed it on to me. Okay. Let's just see this. Well, they say it kind of incubates for a week, isn't it? They're saying it incubates for a week or so. So if I do have it, then, well, like I told you guys, I think I had it in the end of last December. End of December, I think I had it, and I was really badly ill. Alhamdulillah, I shouldn't have it again. Okay. Okay. Anyone want to play in? I don't know. Okay. Thank you. I wondered because in fact Paul is accused to be a liar, and both Christians and Muslims agree that he never knew Jesus. Peace be upon him. Simply saw him in a dream and distorted his message. Yes. So that's why I said to you, a lot of the tafsirs are not authentic because they were not designed to be authentic. A lot of them, the early ones were. they were basically just like encyclopedias for lots of information that people received. So just like a library, if you have a library, libraries are filled with all sorts of books, authentic books and fake books, and true facts and false facts. So that's what basically early tafsirs represented. That's why I said it's very important to study a tafsir from someone first of all, to get an idea of how tafsirs work, and then after that you can actually go into the tafsir kind of jungle, if it's the right expression. Why now? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Oh, mashallah, 42 people watching, and it's only been half an hour. Allahu Akbar. Allah, all your du'as, guys, all your barakat, and quarantine as well. Yeah, you gotta give it to Corona. You skipped over my question. What was your question? Yeah, I think I answered it. Haider Ali. Okay. I thought you were talking to someone else there. I want to read Tafsir al-Kabir by Imam Razi. I have zero Arabic. If I study with the 17 lessons, I will be able to do so. Can you explain on the 17 lessons? So, short answer, no. Tafsir Kabir, basically, it requires you to have lots and lots of other understanding of other sciences. So, it's like basically, imagine someone said to me, I want to learn English so that I can read medical books. We're going to say you're being a bit silly there, a bit over enthusiastic. To learn medical books, you need to study GCSE, you need A levels, you need to have lots of experience in other sciences. So if you've studied usul hadith, if you studied usul fiqh, if you studied ilm al-kalam, if you studied tafsir and other things, and then you study tafsir al-kabir, inshallah you'll get it. Yeah, definitely. Okay, I hope that answers your questions. Okay, Muhammad Saad, Jazakallah khair for the answers. What value is given to Al-Jassas's opinions in his Ahkam al-Quran in light of the Hanafi madhab? They're not considered to be mufta bihi, like as in they wouldn't be taken as fatwa, but they would be taken as mustadil, as in being able to use them as dalil. So he is mu'tabar in naql. So naql al-madhab is good, and in application of usul is very good as well. But otherwise, they wouldn't take, like, I've never found scholars quoting Ahkam al-Quran as a source for fatwa. Okay, H. Hussein, is it alright to have stuffed animals? Is it true that the angels don't come if you have them in your room? Not really. No, not really. This is, the angels one is to do with those that have been modeled and images that are honored and worshipped. Yeah, that's what it's referring to. As though if it's not honored and worshipped, then according to the fuqaha Hanafis, they say it's fine. Are you going to teach Arabic numbers? No. Okay, Hamza, what are your thoughts on the book Jawahir Balagha? Is very good, but the only thing is Jawahir Balagha goes into a lot of poetry. So if you haven't studied poetry, I would advise you not to go near these kind of books, because what happens is you have to kind of study balagha before, poetry, get used to poetry, and then otherwise you have two tasks. One task is learning balagha, and second task is learning poetry at the same time, which is very confusing. Okay, Khawla Mahmoud, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. Have you heard of Yusuf Azhar's talk about being a Muslim cult? No, I haven't. I found it very enlightening as I was going to give bayat to a sheikh. What do you think? Are you asking me what do I think about Yusuf Azhar's talk, or are you asking me about giving bayat? Is that what you're asking? Okay. Dear Sheikh, why is it that if an ayah of sajda is recited in a live online session and I hear it from my computer, why is the sajda mandatory on me? Although it is live, I'm hearing the echo from the device and not the actual voice. Please, I've had this confusion for a long time, as I don't understand why recording of an ayah won't make sajda wajib, but a live session will. Please, can you also tell me where I can find proofs of the ruling? Yeah, so, good question. So basically, when it comes to sajda tilawah, the scholars in the past, they discuss this issue of when sajda tilawah is done, there's two things that are necessary. Either you heard the ayah or you recited it. Right, so either has to be heard or recited. So the question now comes is, what if, for example, like the ayah in them days, let's say it was recited by a parrot. So the fuqaha discussed this and said, look, if a parrot recites it, it's not really a human reciting, as it's not considered to be a live recitation. It's not considered to be a live recitation. So it's like an echo, right? So because it's like an echo, therefore, sorry, not an echo. It's like looking into a reflection of the mirror, which you're not really. It's not the same person. So this is why they say that when a person listens to the parrot reciting the verse, it won't become necessary on them. So they done qiyas on this into the future, and they discuss recordings and things like that when they first came out, and they say it won't be necessary because of a recording, because it's not considered to be a recitation, a live recitation itself. As for example, listening it through some sort of electronic device like a microphone or speakers, scholars did actually mention this in the last century when the speaker system first came out. And some of the scholars actually were against this whole idea. Mufti Taqi Usmani's father in Jawahir al-Fiqh has actually discussed this, and he says some of the scholars did not allow praying salat with a speaker because they said the followers are not listening to the imam, they're listening to electronic sounds that are made, so they're not listening to the imam himself. And the Hanafis say the followers listening to someone who is not in salat is not valid. So this is why they have discussed this. However, I mean, in modern days, if a person was to say, for example, there was a live speech or live recitation, and it went through speakers, the person would still say it's live, even though they heard it through the speakers. It's still considered to be that person saying it. Does that make sense? So, if you want to read more about this, all the classical Hanafi texts mention about the issue of recitation, and some of them like Badai Sanai, Bahr Ra'iq, they discuss about the parrots. Yeah, so you can find that in there, inshallah. If you remind me in the week, I'll try to look up the issue. Okay. All right. Next. Okay, so this is a bit of a long question. Let's just answer some of these first, then come back to this one. How is a house inherited? Does it have to be sold and the money divided between the heirs? What if it means the people are left without shelter? So basically, look, let me give you an easy explanation of inheritance here. So look, if a person dies, let's say for instance, this guy dies, yeah? This guy is my mate. So this guy dies. As soon as he dies, Allah has already allotted all of his shares of where it's going to go. Right? That's already been fixed. Allah allows him to give up to 1/3 of his wealth to anyone he wants. Besides the heirs, he can give 1/3 to anyone he wants. So anything that he owns, cash, gold, silver, house, property, whatever he owns, his clothes even, automatically are distributed. And the heirs are responsible for making sure that the distribution is done according to how Allah has ordained in the Quran. Now, if the heirs, for example, let's say he had a house and he dies, the house has to be distributed amongst the heirs. Now, obviously, if they say, it's okay, we'll own the shares in the house, but we won't distribute it. So let's say there's 3 people, and each one of them has a certain amount of share. So they will be considered shared owners of the property. And if one of them says, look, I want my share now, they'll have to sell it. Does that make sense? Now, I know it does cause family problems, but this is why Allah has already ordained the shares, because Allah knows that humans are going to fight after death anyway. So when you generally see someone's passed away, the family members get into arguments and squabbles about how much they're going to take and who's going to take what. And even in the British law, that's why they have writing wills in the British law, so that people are saved from these arguments. So yeah, so the house will be considered shared ownership between the heirs, and then it's up to them if they want to sell it there and then and get their money. If they want to sell later on, it's up to them. Okay, Nature Dream. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sufyan, sorry, what's up? Just to clarify about the will. If the married couple have no children, who will the inheritance go to if the wife or husband passes away? So is there any parents involved? So if there's parents, so basically you have to tell me the whole scenario, who's involved in the family, who's left in the family, and then I'll be able to tell you exactly who everything goes to. Okay. Braille v Lion, Mufti, what happens when you wobble, you become a wobbler? Okay, mashallah. Alhamdulillah, very nice joke. Okay, Nature Dreamer. Do you think there is a conspiracy behind this coronavirus? China behind it to punish America or Europe? Allah knows best. Allahu A'lam. Yeah, if there someone caused it or we don't know. We're just doing taqleed basically. We're just following what the experts say. So if someone, political expert or a science expert just says something, we're just following them. We can make conspiracies, but we don't know if it's true or not. Okay. Mahad Mania, is it jaiz to tie your hair behind in a ponytail if it's long? Yes, it's jaiz. Well, however, when it comes to salat, a person should take it down or take it off because it prevents the hair from doing sajda. Okay, Adib Yusuf, government is giving loans to help businesses not making any revenue during this time. Is it permissible to accept it if there's interest? How do the loans work? I mean, do the businesses need the loans? Is it needed? I'm sure it's obviously differing from person to person. Yeah, so it would all depend on the circumstances. So if a business was in dire need and otherwise the person would become bankrupt and it would cause a lot of problems, then possibly yes, there'll be scope there to take the loan. Otherwise, no. Can you translate Surah Ikhlas into English in the most accurate way? I mean, if you go to my YouTube channel, I've done a whole dars on Surah Ikhlas. Yeah, Surah Ikhlas. So if you say the most accurate way, that's a very, very problematic question there, because when you say accurate, you can never accurately translate anything to another language. It's not possible. Yeah. So if you're saying the closest you think, then yeah, I can do that. But the most accurate, I wouldn't say that there's a most accurate, because like the word samad, you can't translate the word samad into English. Ahad, you can't translate ahad into English. Kufuwan, you can't translate kufuwan into English. It's not possible to translate it. Yes, you can get very close words. Okay. Ali, obviously, my younger family member is watching. Lol, mashallah, mashallah. Ahlan wa sahlan, young family member. S. Hussein, putting, he means you are posing in the pic for the live stream. Oh, no. So basically, what happened there was, so what I do is I play a video, and then I take a screenshot. Yeah, and the screenshot, all the screenshots that were coming out, my mouth was like like this, open, and this was the only one that I could get with my mouth was quite closed. So that was basically one that I put on. Yeah, so I know some people say I'm like trying to perk my lips or trying to show a kiss or something. Those kisses are only for my huri'ins. Yeah. Okay, so Wasik Ustad, why was the difference of opinion about photography being allowed or not when introduced first time into Islamic world? Yeah, so basically when it came to in the early years, basically, oh mashallah, look at that, we've got first time ever, we've got 50 concurrent viewers. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Coronavirus, man. So basically, look, when Islam came to eradicate this concept of idol worship. Idol worship and making partners with Allah is like the worst virus humanity has ever put into a religion. Yeah, and so Islam came to eradicate this, because once you have this virus, then people will call dhulm. So dhulm, oppression, is a natural consequence of making partners with Allah. So basically, everything that was associated to making partners with Allah was prohibited. Just like when alcohol was banned in Islam, everything associated to alcohol initially was banned. The vessels that were used to make alcohol were banned. People having gatherings of alcohol were banned. There was like a full ban on them. Why? Because it's like, when someone's addicted to something, you need to get rid of everything that they associate with that thing. Well, you had to get rid of that. So the same thing came with shirk as well. So when it came to shirk, everything associated to shirk was banned. A ban was put onto it. So this is why the Prophet ﷺ said things like, any house that has an image in there, or those people who make images, will on the day of judgment will have to blow the soul into the image, and in a hadith like that. So now the scholars ask the question, now because shirk now in the Mecca had been eradicated, there's no more shirk. So now, will it be possible that now we can re-look at these kind of the concepts here? So we find some hadith where the Prophet ﷺ actually allowed there to be images, but he said, look, as long as the image is on the floor or they're not respected. So the Hanafi scholars take from that look, as long as the statues or images are not respected and not honored in the society as things that are revered and worshipped, then they're okay to have. So they discuss all of these things. So that's why when we look at fiqh rulings, we try to understand why did the whys we're looking for. Why did the Prophet ﷺ say this for? Why? And that's what fiqh is all about, trying to find the whys. Once you understand the whys, when you're in 2020 and you're faced with certain circumstances, because you know the whys, 1,500 years ago, you'll know exactly what the underpinning rulings are for situations that we're faced with today. So, for example, like if a child has images, cartoon images on their clothing, can they wear that? Or if you're selling newspapers in your shop and they have images, can you sell that? Or mobile phones, etc., where people are clearly going to take images, can you sell that? Does that make sense? So that's basically how it works. Nature dreamer, I am a Hanafi, can I marry Salafi if they're not God-fearing? Yes, you can marry anyone as long as they're Muslim, you can marry anyone you want. Now, ideally, you want to marry someone, obviously, who is of your level, who is, someone who is a suitor for you. Whether they're God-fearing or not, that's something that, can change overnight. So yeah, you can marry. Oh, he's gone now. Allahu Akbar. Okay, MP wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Unity for the Ummah. Assalamu alaikum. I'm doing tajweed online, but I've heard that when you do tajweed online, your pronunciation will be different from what it should be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've never done tajweed online, but I guess try to kind of emulate the person that you're. If it's face to face, like on Skype or something, try to emulate the sounds that they're making. That's the best thing I would advise. And if you can read it to them and they can correct you, I think that's the best way. How are you? Alhamdulillah, I am good. Are you talking to me or are you talking to someone else? The legend has arrived. Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah, self-praise. Okay. Right, so this is the question now. Let's go back to this then. Assalamu alaikum. I was praying behind my father in the second rakat. I was stuck in sajdas because my niece was on top of me. While I was stuck in that position, the Imam, my father, stood up at the third rakat, finished the Fatiha, and before I could raise my head, he went into ruku of the third rakat. So I missed the entire third rakat with him. I got confused because of the long gap, thinking my prayer went wrong. He went into third rakat's ruku while I wasn't there with him during the qiraat. So I said my salam. Did I do correctly, or was I supposed to have joined the Imam despite of missing a whole rakat? Okay, so what you should have done basically was if it was short, you just make up the thing you missed and then you continue with your father. Right? So if you missed the rakat or you missed the ruku, you make it up quickly and then you catch up. Otherwise, at the end of the salat, when you give salam, you stand up and you make that rakat up again. That's what you do. Because you're in the ruling of a lahiq, not a masbuq. You're in the ruling of a lahiq, so you're allowed to do this inside the salat. Please explain the ruling if other similar cases happen. Imam goes into ruku, stands up before I can join him in ruku. So it all depends. So in this situation, for example, let's say this is the Imam. Imam has gone into ruku, right? Imam's gone into ruku. Now, if I join the salat whilst the Imam gets up, then I haven't got that rakat. After Imam gives salam, I have to make this rakat up again. But if I was joined with the Imam from the beginning, and the Imam went into ruku, but I was just like neglectful and I didn't realize, and I didn't go into ruku, and the Imam got up, and when he got up, I realized that I missed the ruku. What do? So I just do it. I just say Allahu Akbar, get up, and then I join the Imam, carry on. Otherwise, if I miss it totally, then at the end of the salat, I make the rakat up again. Imam stands up after the first sitting for third rakat, and I haven't finished the shahud in the first sitting. Yeah, then you get up. You don't finish it. Just get up. Okay. Okay, next. Assalamu alaikum. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned how he commanded Musa alayhi salam to establish prayer in order to remember him. I was thinking this prayer the same as ours. So we don't know exactly how Bani Israel used to do prayer. We don't exactly know. But if we look at how the Jews pray, like today, and we see how they pray, then we can kind of figure out what kind of prayer they had. So if you Google Jewish prayer, you're most likely going to get that's the kind of way that they probably used to pray. Yeah, most likely. But we don't exactly know the exact form of the salats they used to have. But yeah, they used to have some sort of a concept of prayer. They had some concept of prayer. Also, why is it said that our ummah is more beloved to Allah compared to other nations? I don't know. Where is that mentioned? Yeah, if you can find a quote for me which says that we're more beloved to Allah. We're more honored is different, but being more beloved, I don't know about that. I've never come across that. Is there any special ibadah for Sha'ban? No, not necessarily. There's no special ibadah. Apart from the Prophet ﷺ used to fast a lot in Sha'ban. That's all we know. He used to fast a lot. So fasting in the month of Sha'ban is something which is, if you want to call it special, then yeah. Okay, next question. All right, let me check out your questions. Okay, where's the Beats? Google Jesus PDF by Abu Zakaria Aira has a whole chapter on Paul. Haydar Ali, Dream Hanafi is a madhab, Salafi is a manhaj, all Salafis are the most God-fearing. Okay, Khawla Mahmoud, about giving bay'at to a sheikh. Okay, so giving bay'at to a sheikh, let me explain this to you guys. So basically, look, imagine for example, I explain giving bay'at to a sheikh like a person wanting to do training and make themselves fit, right? So for example, like let's say I want to get a six-pack, or I want to get certain muscles or something, or I want to lose a lot of weight. What do? Start doing exercise, don't I? But what exercise do I do? Do I do sit-ups? Do I do press-ups? Do I jump up and down? You know, there's so much information out there. So what I do is, the best thing to do is for me to contact a personal trainer. If I contact a personal trainer, someone who knows exactly what I need, they look at my body weight, my height, look at my diet and all those factors, and then they'll be able to give me a prescribed way of how to achieve what I want in the quickest time possible. Does that make sense? So basically, when it comes to Islam, if a person wants, for example, all people are different. So there's some people who work, some people who don't work, some people who are parents, some are not parents, some are male, some are female, old, young. So people have different desires, right? Some people are more sexually active, some people are less, some people are more addicted to certain other things, some people are less, some people may have, personal problems, depression, other things. So what you need, basically, a spiritual, like a trainer, like a mentor. So someone who's like really kind of well trained in this. So the Prophet ﷺ was the best spiritual mentor that you can have. He just knew everyone's, like, what kind of things they needed. So the Prophet ﷺ, like, someone would come to him and he would say to them, give me advice, O Messenger of Allah. And the Prophet said, on one occasion, he said to a Sahabi, he said, don't get angry. And the Sahabi said, no, okay, Messenger, but give me some other advice. He goes, no, don't get angry. He kept saying it to him. And the Prophet kept saying, don't get angry, because the commentator said the problem most likely must have been that this particular Sahabi had an anger management problem. And the Prophet knew that was his main problem that was affecting everything else in his life. Once he can focus on this, then everything else will naturally, organically start to develop. Does that make sense? And there's another Sahabi who comes to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, O Messenger of Allah, I want to go and fight in the battle. He goes, are your parents alive? He goes, yeah. He goes, stay with your parents. Do their khidmah, serve them. That was the spiritual advice he gave to him. So everyone, you can see, he used to treat them in a very different way. Now when we read hadith, a lot of us don't read hadith like that. We just read hadith just generic. And we just think any advice he gave to anyone. Imagine, like, for example, there's a doctor, and this doctor has been a doctor for, let's say, 10 years. And someone's, like, we know 100 of his patients, and they come to us and say, oh, one day he told me to take paracetamol. Oh, one day he told me, lie down a lot. And one day the one told me to take cold baths. And one day he told me to stay away from peanuts. One day, now if we just say, oh, subhanallah, look, this doctor said all these things, I'm going to try to act upon all of them. It's a bit silly, isn't it? Right? We're going to harm ourselves. So that's how we have to understand this. So this is why, just like there are some scholars who are trained in fiqh, and there are some scholars who are trained in hadith, there are some scholars who are trained in this field of, like, tweaking a person's spirituality. Does that make sense? Now, obviously, now we want to know who in this era and time is there. Now, is there anyone who is so good, like a personal spiritual trainer that is like Mr. Motivator, that new guy that you guys are all talking about, the one that gets 800,000 views? Yeah. So, is there? Is there not? Some scholars say there isn't. The best ones died out years ago, right? So, So this is what I would say. Look, if you want to do bayat, that's the aim of bayat. Bayat should not be a cult. Like if a person is doing bayat because they think by me doing bayat, so magically I just become close to Allah. That's wrong, that is. Because no one can magically get close to Allah except through the way the Sahabas got close to Allah, which is through following the Quran, through the Prophet ﷺ's way. Yeah, that's how we get close to Allah. Does that make sense? So bayat, whole point of it is to tweak your spirituality, to know exactly what your weaknesses are and problems, that you can overcome them and get close to Allah as quick as possible. Right, next. Ullukapatta. Is the aura top of the knee and bottom? According to Hanafis, it's the full kneecap, like the entire kneecap. And according to Shafi'is, it's not the kneecap. The kneecap is fine. Naveed Mufti, what is your thoughts on Burda Sharifuddin al-Busiri? It's a very good book, very good poems, mashallah. There's about 14 or 15 places in there which are controversial according to some scholars, but the thing you have to remember about poetry is, if you haven't studied poetry, you don't know what controversy is. So a lot of people say to me, oh, but you know, وَعِنْدَهُ عِلْمُ اللَّوْحِ وَالْقَلَمِ, right? He mentions that in his poetry. So the problem is poetry is its own genre of language, right? There are things in classical poetry and even in Islamic poetry and poetry throughout the years which are very controversial to a non-poet, but to poets it's totally fine. Yeah, because that's their realm. They can speak about balagha and they can speak about exaggeration, and all these things can exist. So if a person's well rehearsed in poetry, right, and when they read Burda, it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, and the only people that have issues with it are people who will like not understand how poetry works and will take out, you know, very superficial sort of problems. Okay. Weza Beach, Jazakallah khair for your answer. You're welcome, Weza. Khawla Mahmoud, I've been warned by some sisters that sheikhs tend to take over your life and make all your decisions for you, but I just want someone to help me. So yeah, so I've mentioned to you what the whole point of it is, and if you achieve that, what I've just said to you as a trainer, and you know exactly, they understand. You see, what sometimes happens is some people will do bayat to the sheikh, and the sheikh will have no idea who this person is at all, and they won't know their unique sort of like problems that they have, and then the sheikh will just give them generic zikrs, just do this, do this. And yes, unfortunately, there have been many cases where sheikhs have taken advantage of, you know, the followers. You know, it happens, and you see this not just in Muslims but in Christians. You see this in the, you know, I don't know if you heard of that famous guy Osha. So if you Google Osha, you'll find out about his famous cult that he established in the US, and he just raked in the money and all sorts and deceived people. Okay, can you please make a video and explain the poem Sautu Safir al-Bulbuli? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Actually, that's a good idea, you know. Sautu Safir al-Bulbuli. I mean, it's not a special poem or anything, but it just sounds nice. But yeah, I can do that. Okay, to help Corona, is coronavirus punishment? No, not necessarily. Right, not necessarily punishment. It's a test from Allah, definitely. Maybe a punishment, but we should never ever take things as punishments. Rather, we should take them as tests, and we should leave the punishments, you know, to Allah. Thoughts on Ahmad Raza Khan Barelvi perving on his murids, sleeping with their wives? Allahu A'lam. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too familiar with Maulana Ahmad Raza Khan's works. I mean, Maulana Ahmad Raza Khan, his fiqh works are very good. So when it comes to fiqh, the guy, mashallah, is a very well read scholar, mashallah. But I mean, to accuse someone, to slander someone about things, you know, I wouldn't really kind of like to, you know, say that. Yeah, but in fiqh, Maulana Ahmad Raza Khan, alhamdulillah, is a very well-read scholar, and his fiqh books are available in Urdu, most of them. In Arabic, he has fiqh books as well. He has written books on Radd al-Muhtar. It's called Al-Jadd al-Jadd, I think it's called Al-Jadd al-Mumtaz. Yeah, very, very good book. It's in 4 volumes. And I don't agree with him on a lot of his fiqh issues, but you can tell that he is, you know, a scholar of good caliber. Okay, quiet echo. I want to learn under a teacher and do it traditionally, but I don't have one, and I can't go to Saudi or Egypt. I only read and watch videos. What should I do? Well, you're in luck. So if you can see underneath, I have a 17 lessons Arabic course, and in 17 lessons you can learn Arabic, you can start to read the Quran, and then you can continue your studies by doing like other courses that I have, or you can do someone else's course. But this 17 lessons course will get you into Arabic. That's the main thing you want to get into, and then into Quran and other sciences. So alhamdulillah, yesterday, a sister, she completed her course. 2 days ago, 2 students completed their course. I think about beginning of the week, someone completed their course as well. So 17 lessons. You can check out in the link below. My mum bought me a stick man in honor of Mufti Sab. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, so this is my stick man. As you guys have noticed, I've been using them in my fiqh lessons. Okay. Is it permissible for a woman to have a graduated bob cut goes around the bottom of the neck? Is it okay? Because many women have. So the bob cut, if according to many of the scholars, if it comes up to your ears, it's okay. Yeah, as long as it doesn't resemble men's haircut. So there should be like a clear difference between men's haircut and women's haircut. So around up to the ears. So the Hanafis have a split. Some Hanafis say they can't cut their hair except trimming. Other Hanafis say up to the ears. What I would say is, whatever is a norm in the society for the women, those kind of haircuts would be allowed, as long as it's not too radical. Okay, let's check out this. Okay, this is a question to do with ihram. Fasting. If I put olive oil in my nose during fasting, will it break my fast? Yes. So if you put olive oil in your nose and it goes into your nostril and it goes inside the nose cavity and it goes down your throat, your fast breaks. If you just put it in your nostrils, let's say the person just wants to clean their nose and they put olive oil or something, then that wouldn't. Does Vicks vapor rub in the nostrils break fast? No, it doesn't. If lips are chewed and some dry skin comes off and it's swallowed, does it break fast? No, because you can't feel it. So it's something which kind of like goes with the saliva. But if you can feel like a thick amount, like you've really bitten off your lip, right, and then you're going a bit mad, then that's different. Then your fast will break. But if it's just a small little piece of skin, it's fine. Does putting olive oil on body ihram require jinayat? Okay, so this is a good question. Please, can you let us know when you'll do the jinayat course? Well, because umrahs have been cancelled, so I've got a bit of time now. Alhamdulillah. Maybe Hajj will be cancelled as well, so I've got even more time. So okay, let me tell you some kind of like a khulasa summary of this. When it comes to like putting perfumes onto your body, the Hanafis say that perfumes are divided into 2 types of like substances. So a substance which is known as a perfume in society, like for example sprays or those roll-on perfumes that you have, those are known as perfumes. And then perfumes which are not necessarily known as perfumes, right? So the rule is, if you use any perfume that's known in society as a perfume on a full limb, like a full hand or a full arm or a full whatever head, then you have to give them. You have to slaughter an animal. If, however, you use something which is not a perfume, like for example olive oil, for instance, or oils, that is not a perfume, but it has a natural fragrance to it, like olive oil has a natural scent, then those kind of things, basically, if you eat them, if you've used it to eat or for medicinal purposes, then there's no dam, then there's no slaughtering. But if you use it on a limb, Abu Hanifa rahimullah, he says, because it's been used as a perfume, even though it's not a perfume, but it's been used as a perfume, then you'll have to give them. Whereas the Sahibain, they say no, you only give sadaqah. So that's the rule. So if there is a natural thing which is not used as a perfume, and that's why I think before when someone asked, maybe the same person that asked about the soap masala as well. So that's why the classical books mention about soaps, that soaps are not natural perfumes. They weren't natural perfumes. So if a person was to use, let's say, something of that sort, which was not a natural perfume, but it had its own scent, on a limb or something, then Abu Hanifa would say dam, and Sahibain would say only sadaqah. Now, this is something I've actually discussed this with some scholars, like Sheikh Suhail Hanif and others. And Sheikh Suhail Hanif and others have said to me that, look, we have to kind of look at this issue of perfumes in our society, because olive oil was never used as a perfume in our society, maybe classically in the past. So in today's times, for example, like maybe certain alcohols are used as perfumes, as perfume bases, for making perfumes, but olive oil is not really used in that sense. Okay, next question. Okay, what is the ruling on healthcare professionals shortening or trimming their beards in order to be fitted for respiratory masks necessary when treating patients with infectious diseases such as COVID-19? So again, the rule basically would be, this is the rule of the thumb, that if in any situation where there is no other possible way than cutting the beard to save someone's life, then you can cut the beard, because it's a matter of life. Life is more important than the beard. However, if there is a way, so I've seen some scholars, and some scholars have said they can actually wear, like a woman's, one of those kind of rubber hijabs, elasticy hijabs. They can wear those, they've allowed those, and they put the mask on top, and it actually works fine. So they don't need to cut their beards. So some have resorted to that, wearing this kind of like hijab thing. So that would be fine then. Okay. Ya Allah. Right. Look, but is it permissible for a woman to have done that one? Sufyan replied, will a husband has no parents but 2 brothers and 2 sisters? A wife has parents and 1 brother. The couple have no children. So if a person has no parents, no children, then what happens is the wealth is going to be distributed amongst the wife is going to get a share. So she's going to get a quarter. And then the brothers and sisters are going to get it's a sixth sudus, yeah. Sudus, they're going to get a sixth, and then whatever's left, the share that is left, technically this kind of like is redistributed amongst them, or it goes back to. So if you send me this question, what you can do is email this question to me in more detail. I need to ask some questions to you as well, or rather than just like back and forth on this, and then I can give you a better answer. So in the week, if you email me, the email's at the bottom, email me the question, full details, each person and who's alive and at the moment, and then I can help you with that one. Okay, Ruqayya Hussein, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Weza Beats, no. And I see your message now. Thank you very much. Okay, only obstacles, no. Okay, Wissam Tanvi, Assalamu alaikum. Regarding inheritance, if the deceased clothes are also part of inheritance, then how do the inheritors agree on a value on the clothes, not knowing its true value? So it's theirs, they can do whatever they want with it. So the heirs technically become the owner of everything that deceased owned. Now, if they want to decide to throw it in the bin or to give it to charity unanimously, then it's fine. Yeah, so that's something they do basically. So it's left to them. Ideally, what basically happens in the inheritance rules, ideally what happens is they do out of court settlements, sulh. Yeah, out of court settlements where they kind of like agree. Yeah, they agree on how to dispose of it, and then that's fine. So unanimous agreement kind of resolves a lot of these problems. Ulukapata, what's your view on the fatwa that Deobandi elders were non-Muslim? How do we reply to that? Allahu Alam. I mean, if someone asks me of something that's happening today, alhamdulillah, I'll try to answer that. But if someone asks me about something that happened in the past, people have said things about Sahaba. If people have said things about Sahaba, right, people have said things about the Aimma of the Madhabs and others, Imam Bukhari and others. So I wouldn't really kind of spend my time trying to defend people or trying to write books and stuff like that. I think that, see, what happens there is it just kind of like creates this sort of mentality of, fighting each other. Yeah, you have a jab at me and I'll have a jab at you, historic jab at you, and you have a 150 year jab at me and I'll have a 150 jab at you. And then what happens is society can't continue. Everyone's fighting over their elders. And we're not responsible for our elders. We are only responsible for Allah and His Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, inshallah. Okay, so I wouldn't really spend my time too much on that. And I know there are people out there, certain groups from the Brailwi that attack the Deobandi, and certain Deobandis who attack the Brailwis, and it's a never-ending thing. I haven't seen it end. Yeah, it's not going to end, and the only thing that's going to happen is that it's going to just carry on. I guarantee you'll carry on among small little pockets of groups for years and years, and just trying to work out what they were trying to say in their books. And remember, we leave it to Allah. Allah will decide. Okay, Muhammad Ali, Assalamu alaikum. How should we approach a difficult time like, oh, mashallah, why now? Allahu Akbar. Why now? £10. Jazakumullah khair. Why now? Mashallah. May Allah reward you. May Allah put barakah and blessings in your time, in your efforts. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. Mashallah. May Allah bless you. Okay, so Assalamu alaikum, brother. How should we approach difficult time like the coronavirus? It's a very difficult time. I think we all need to come together and come up with solutions. I don't think we should rely upon scholars or rely upon one group or another group. We should all come together, try to do the best we can, support one another, try to listen to what the experts, the medical experts are saying to us, and try to have, sabr, patience as well. This is gonna finish in a few months' time, inshallah. It's gonna finish. It's gonna be over. We're gonna look back at it and we're gonna say, look, this was something that happened in our lives, and we just carry on, inshallah. Okay, only the obstacle. Where will we be special events? No, where will we do the special events in the mosque? Yeah, no, online. Wasik barakallah feek. Okay, someone's deleted Nature Dreamer's messages and Ulukapatta's messages. Allah Akbar. Okay. Please don't delete my comments to silence me. Okay, SO saying we can all see what's going on here. Okay, don't worry, Nature Dreamer. We will speak to Mufti Sahib after the live stream. Okay, Nature Dreamer, I'm very upset you telling me to shut up twice. Shame, because I really enjoyed these streams. I will leave now. Wassalam. Oh, mashallah, what happened? What happened there? Whoa, I didn't even see the messages. Were they kind of like sectarian or something? You're being immature, making big things out of nothing. Adil Pashtun, Salam Sheikh. For someone that cannot commit to the Alim program but wishes to study the Hanafi madhab, what books and study material would you recommend? How would you advise to go ahead of it? So what I would suggest is, if you want to study the Hanafi madhab or any madhab, first of all, study from an expert, study from a trained person, and then after that you can do your own reading, because it's just basically like studying medicine, really. If you want to read medicine yourself just because you know English, it's a very dangerous path, because you're going to make big mistakes. Study from someone. There's lots of things available. On my Twitter, mashallah, brother Adil has put up a whole list of online resources that you can follow, and I've got my Kuduri that you can follow as well. Kuduri, I've done about 60 something lessons so far. So have a look at that, and then after that you can slowly develop, and inshallah you can do it. I've seen lots of people that have actually done it like what you're planning. Okay, I was just putting some emojis for a joke. Okay, MP should not be moderator, a learned mufti and a child-minded moderator. Shocking, so unprofessional. Allahu Akbar. Ulukapatta's got upset. Okay, Nature Dreamer, you are making Mufti Sahib look bad now. Okay, all the obstacles. How did MP become moderator? Okay, Ustad, your viewers are immature and do not know how to take a joke. Now they're trying to make me out as a bad person. Okay, chalo, everyone forgive everyone, yaar. Come on, forgive everyone. Coronavirus is hitting us all. We should all come together. Okay, I told us to shut up, and now we're immature. Subhanallah. Okay, MP, I'm gonna have to have a word with you. Okay, okay, my viewers are not immature. Okay. All or nothing. أستاذنا، هل يمكنك ترشيح كتب في الفقه الحنفي مرتبة مثل سلسلة كتب ابن قدامة المقدسي في الفقه الحنبلي أو المبتدئ ثم المتوسط ثم المتقدم؟ نعم، إن شاء الله. هناك عندنا في الفقه الحنفي دراسة مرتبة حسب الكتب للمبتدئين ثم المتوسطين ثم المتقدمين في الفن المذهب والفقه الحنفي. فأوصي الطلبة أن يبدأوا بكتاب مثل كتاب اسمه نور الإيضاح. نعم، كتاب نور الإيضاح كتاب جيد. هذا إذا كان شخص لم يدرس الفقه قط قبل هذا. أما إذا درس الفقه قبل هذا فأوصيه أن يقرأ أو يدرس عند الشيخ القدوري. فهذا متن متين، متن يوضح وأودع فيه صاحبه نكات وعبارات قيمة جدا لفهم طريقة المتقدمين عند الحنفية. ثم إذا تقدم الطالب يدرس الكتاب مثلا الاختيار. نعم، الاختيار كتاب جيد مفيد جدا. وكذلك بعد ذلك يدرس الهداية. نعم، ويتلوه كتاب بحر الرائق أو بدائع الصنائع. ثم مثلا كتاب فتح القدير، أو إذا كان يريد مثلا ممكن يدرس، إلا أني لا أوصي أن يدرس الطالب كتاب مثل الحاشية ابن عابدين. يعني هذا كتاب ليس كتاب يدرس، يعني لم يكتب لكي يدرس. نعم. فهذه الكتب يعني حسب هذا الترتيب: نور الإيضاح، ثم قدوري، ثم اختيار الموصلي، ثم الهداية للمرغناني، ثم ابن نجيم بحر الرائق. نعم. Okay. Yeah, I'm very upset. You're telling me to shut up twice. Shame, because I really enjoy these streams. I will leave now. Salam. I have to repost because because MP's deleting my comments now. Okay. Burda al-Busiri has shirk inside poetry. Should never be more beloved than Tawheed. I would disagree with you, Haider Ali. I mean, I don't know how much Arabic poetry you've studied in the past, but I would disagree with you a lot. Nature Dreamer, you've spammed this same message so many times now. I'm not deleting them. We can see them. Okay, why did Allah send the virus? Why did Allah create us for? Why did Allah create the sun for? These are all good questions to ask. We don't know. Yeah, why did Allah create the stars? Why did Allah create the maggots and the worms? So we don't know the answer to this. MP is right, he did not delete them. Okay, so are women allowed to cut their hair above the shoulders? Yes, according to many Hanafis, they're allowed to. Like I said, there's an ikhtilaf in this. Are necklaces, rings, watches, awra for a woman? Necklaces, rings, I mean, the areas that the necklace is put onto, yes, that's an awra. But the necklace itself, they take the necklace off, and that's not an awra. A necklace is just an object. Many messages were deleted. # silenced. Allahu Akbar. Raise proper. I think isolations get into you guys. Isolations get into you guys, and mashallah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Okay, everyone read the Durud Sharif. Everyone read Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Inshallah, it'll calm everyone down. Yeah, we have respect for one another, inshallah. Only the older messages were deleted. All the recent ones are there. Okay, Eskan. If a house is in both spouses' names, will that mean that half of it will become the inheritance of one dies? What if the spouse has not paid? Yeah, so this is a good question. It all depends upon the spouse. So the spouses, whatever they decided. So for example, like legally, it might be under both their names, but it might just be a 90 to 10% ratio. So it's up to how much they had invested in the house. Yeah, so usually, for example, like maybe the husband has paid for everything, but he just wants to put it under her name for legal purposes. So it's not the legal kind of like naming doesn't really impact the Islamic ruling. Well, IDK Khan. Okay, Saf A. If someone refuses to be resuscitated if they ever end up in hospital, is this allowed? Yes, it's allowed. Yeah, if I mean, resuscitation is not necessarily needed. Okay, mysterious fact: how we can overcome from this coronavirus. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that a person doesn't have to resuscitate them. They actually should resuscitate them. But if a person wants this, that's their choice. And it all depends upon what kind of means of resuscitation as well. How we can overcome from the coronavirus. I mean, how can we overcome? Again, like I said, it's just something that we're going to have sabr. We're just going to have to wait. We're going to have to, change our routines a bit. Why now, mashallah. Thank you very much for your generous, kind donation. Allahu Akbar, Jazakallah khair. Loida Echipare. I probably messed up your name there. So how would I pronounce that name? Jazakallah khair to you. Mysterious fact: due to coronavirus, all the company has closed now. I'm jobless. Kindly pray for us. I mean, I think a lot of people, unfortunately, are in a very similar situation around the world. Yeah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for everyone. May Allah put barakah in their time and their efforts and give them rizq and sustenance. Bima Bay's projection. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Assalamu alaikum, Bima. Oily, the obstacles, $90. Mysterious, tell me, MP, what are some non-fiction books that are not Islamic that you have benefited from? Non-fiction books that are non-Islamic. non-fiction books. Like I told you, some of the books, for example, Mysteries of Banking. I think it's a very good book. Mysteries of Banking. If you're into that kind of stuff, Mysteries of Banking. I think it's by Murray Brown. Prisons of Geography. Yeah, the one that I showed you guys before. It's a very good book. Amos Diaz is a good book by Harari, but problem is, I think a person should know their Aqidah before they study these kind of books. Habit and Change, Dumbing Us Down. These are also good books as well. Assalamu alaikum Hazrat. Is hair dye permissible as when one doing wudu? Yes, hair dyes are permissible because the hair dye doesn't really kind of add any kind of thick covering on the hair. It's just the dye colors it. Okay, Hamza, how's the book Mughni al-Labib and Kutub al-A'arib? It's a good book. Mughni al-Labib is a very good book. Yeah, it's a bit of an advanced book, but it's good. Can we still go to the mosque? Yes, you can go anywhere you want, my brother. We'll look up at that. Shall we do online 40 durood on Thursday nights? What do you think, Mufti Saab, during this Corona saga? 40 durood. You know, actually, someone wrote a book. One of my friends, Mufti Javed, he's actually written a book. I've left that book in a sofa. Now, obviously, now if I go to a sofa and the police stop me and say to me, what essential work are you going for? And I'm going to say, I'm going to get this book. So I was thinking maybe I can do some of those online, durood. Salutation of the Prophet ﷺ. It's a good idea. But the problem is I work throughout the week. I'm teaching online, so I'm not going to a sofa, but I'm still teaching online. And this week I was teaching all week, and it's quite tiring. So yeah, it was a bit difficult. Okay, Bima. So I have a question. I had a message for everyone getting together and doing a dhikr durood gathering at certain times. One sheikh told me this is bid'ah. What are your views on this? And I was told that this is not practiced by the Prophet or some companions. Okay, so this is a good question. So I think I'll answer this question in a bit of detail. So this is quite common that people around the world now obviously are trying to come out with their own solutions or ways of spiritually trying to gain Allah's mercy. So we all know that, look, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that no group of people come in the house of Allah and recite the Quran and read it to each other, except that the angels come around them and cover them and gather around them and ask Allah to forgive them. Yeah, so we all know this. And we all know that recitation of the Quran and citation of the Prophet ﷺ are some of the best acts that a person can do. So whether a person does them alone or whether a person does them in a gathering, there's no problem, right? We know that. The issue is that if a person believes that this is the best way of doing it and this is more rewarding to do it like this, then that's a problem. That's when it becomes in the realm of innovation. So as long as a person does not believe, like for example, us doing a live stream, did any Sahabi ever do a live stream? Did any Sahabi ever sit and answer questions like this or to people who are far away? No, he didn't. So are we going to say this is bid'ah? No, because we don't believe this to be more rewarding than if we were to do it in a mosque, or if we do it under a tree, or if we were to do it on a beach or a different place. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, next. Advice for students going into Bukhari and anything worth reading. Yeah, if you're going into Bukhari, I would say the problem is look, I personally don't really agree with the Dars-e-Nizami system of teaching Dawra Hadith, especially Bukhari. For a lot of madrasas, Bukhari is simply taught as a translation, and a lot of like fiqh debates go on in there, which is not designed for that. Bukhari is a very, very, very dense book. I mean, if you're just gonna study Bukhari just so that people understand, just so the student understand what's in Bukhari, that's like bare minimum. If there was 10 steps to learning Bukhari, in madrasas they only probably cover 2 steps at best, maybe 3 steps. So if you want to cover all 10 steps of studying Bukhari, then I would say that you have to have a very good, strong grasp of Usul Hadith, Takhrij, Jarh and Ta'deel, and you should know the meanings of the Hadith before you get into Bukhari. Bukhari shouldn't be taught by teaching the people what the Hadith means. Bukhari should be taught to understand why did Imam Bukhari bring this Hadith and not other Hadith. Yeah, so that's how I personally think it should be taught. It should be a very, and 1 year is a joke really. It would, if a person wanted to study it properly, it would at least take 15 to 20 years if you want to study like proper hardcore. Yeah, 10 to 20 years, okay, 20 to 20 years. If if you want to study it properly, kama haqqahu, yeah, without a joke. But otherwise, if it's just like translation and students sitting there writing the meaning, that you can get all of that from a book, right? You can get all of that from commentaries. All right. I want to write a will, but I feel my wife will be upset because I want to give to my father as he is in more of a financial difficulty position than her. She will be upset. Any advice? Can I do it privately? And who do I give it to? So if a person wants to give, for example, money to parents, what I would say is you give your money beforehand. So beforehand, before you die, you give it as a gift to your parents and hand it over to them. Give it to them beforehand. The thing about this is that a person cannot, after he dies, cannot change anything in the distribution of Allah. And if he does, he's going to be committing a sin. But like I said, if he wants to give it to his father, you're going to have to, beforehand, give it as a gift. Okay, and maybe speak to your wife about it. Speak to your wife. Yeah, tell your wife. Yeah, don't be scared of your wife. Yeah, just tell her, "Baby, whose money is it? I want to give it to my dad." Okay. I think you asked this question 4 times. Oh, 5 times. Oh. All right. Let's see if there's any other questions. All right. Can Jummah only be performed in a public place? How about in a prison where Jummah is performed? It's not open for public. Yes. Classical books say Jummah is not allowed in a prison, but like contemporary scholars have discussed this because classical prisons were different than modern prisons. Classical prisons only had a few people in there. Now prisons have hundreds and maybe even thousands of people in there. So this is why this has opened the debate regarding modern day prisons, and many of the scholars have given fatwa, like Mufti Taqi Usmani and others, to allow Jummahs to be performed in prisons and these kind of places, because they are like small mini cities. Like a prison today would be something that was similar to an old city in the past. In the pandemic, some ulama say that we should follow what the UK government say, but if the UK government are not following the best medical advice, do we have to follow them? I mean, see, the thing is that everyone, when this happens, everyone becomes a mujtahid. None of us have ever been in this problem in the past. So what happens is everyone now wants to see what should we do. So I mean, like it's like smoking. When smoking first came out, people were just like confused. Muslims were, what should we do? Some said it's allowed, some say it's not allowed. Some people wrote books to show it's allowed. Some people wrote books to show it's not allowed. It kind of just caused this kind of big hoo-ha. But then when the facts came out years later, the scholars realized that smoking is very harmful to your health, right? And that's why they start saying what they said. So likewise, in this kind of situations, look, we can't decide if the government's right or wrong. The government, we expect them, we're living under them, we expect them to take the best advice. And if we disagree with them on that, we should understand that the government's there to create stability in society. Sahaba, even if the government was oppressive, the Sahaba still accepted them. Yeah, so it happened in the time of the Sahaba. Anas used to say, some of our leaders delay the salats for no reason. Yeah, and they used to still pray with them though. So you see, we have to have this understanding of the governments, and the idea is not to become rebellious and not to become like a vigilante. We don't want that to happen as well, right? So this is why it's all for the benefit. Now we're realizing that yes, it's not just the British government. All governments are in this. It's the first time that anyone's ever faced something like this, and they don't know what to do. It's just like they are struggling as well. In this, can you please explain the benefits of seclusion, as many will be at home during days? Benefits of seclusion. Seclusion isn't a good thing all the time, right? The Muslim should be a social person, meet with people. So now and again, seclusions are good, right? Now and again, seclusions are good because they cut you off from the society. They make you realize who you are, and the distractions go away. So seclusions, one of the biggest benefits of seclusions, it makes you realize how much patience you have. It makes you realize your temperament, what kind of person you really are, and it makes you realize how much sincerity you have as well. I think these 3 benefits of seclusion, I personally have started to feel. Yeah, how much patience do I really have? Like when I'm in front of other people and I'm getting all the choices I want in the shops, right? I can be chilled out. But when I'm restricted to my choices, am I really patient? And then, it's the issue with regards to, what is my character really like? Like, what am I like when I'm alone? And then, because the true you comes out when you're really alone, isn't it? And then the ikhlas, sincerity. How sincere are you? Were you doing it all for the people, or are you going to pray your salats at home on time and read Quran and do these kind of things? I think that's the. How does a man do hilal of the beard when doing wudu? So hilal is like this. Just pass your fingers like this. Yep, like this. Okay. Do you know any books on balagha in the Quran in English that you recommend? No, unfortunately, I don't know any ones in English. English, I'm not sure. Check out Sheikh Nouman Ali Khan. Sheikh Nouman Ali Khan, check his out. Yeah, so Bayina, if you check out Bayina, I think he does a lot of English stuff. Yeah, check that out. I think it's very good. If a person prays and the lower back is exposed whilst in salah broken, it depends how much. If more than a quarter, yes. If less than a quarter, then not necessarily. Some people refuse to pray behind a sheikh who has a beard under a fist, but that person will be following different opinions. What is the best way for people to understand? Best way to people to understand is to study. A lot of people don't study, and then this is what happens to them. They listen to a talk here, like they'll listen to several talks. They'll take from here, and they're making their mind their own understanding of Islam. When you study properly, you actually study systematically, and you cover all the gaps that you got in your understanding. So it's all about studying. Can you pray behind a Salafi? What if they do masa and they can't socks? Yes, you can pray. I've mentioned this several times. Yeah, you can pray behind them because there is a valid ikhtilaf in wiping over socks. Is cremation jaiz in Islam? No. Salam. Okay. MP has told me many people to shut up, and Nature Dreamer has left. Seems very mature. Who is he? I think I will also leave also. He told me to shut up also. Sorry for a learned person like yourself and having a child-minded. Sorry, and has deleted multiple messages. Okay, yeah, I apologize if you feel upset. But look, I personally think that, look, we should respect one another, yeah? And for me to have these kind of like, these live streams, it's not to cause rift between people. At the end of the day, we're all Muslims. At the end of the day, we're the followers of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, forgive people. Yeah, and the Quran says, don't you want Allah to forgive you? Yeah, don't you want Allah to forgive you? So if we want forgiveness from Allah, we have to remember that, okay, look, if a person has said to us, shut up. Now, is that something for us to kind of become really upset and leave the whole group? And I mean, I don't understand it. To me, personally, I think we should be above that. And I think we shouldn't be saying shut up to people as well. Yeah, we should have respect. So both sides, I think there's wrong that's been done on both sides. And if a person feels they have to leave, then look, we have to respect their decision to leave. But we're adults, and as adults, I think we need to remember that we are the followers of the Prophet ﷺ, and he was the best example for us. And we should, be careful with what we say to other people. And likewise, at the same time, if we do get upset, then that's naturally something that we have the right to be upset. But at the same time, that Allah is forgiving, and Allah wants us to forgive as well. And the Prophet ﷺ says, "Irhamu man fil ard," have mercy on those who are on earth. Allah will have mercy on you. And Allah's mercy comes when we have mercy on other people. Yeah. So I do apologize if anyone has upset you. Okay. What will a person achieve after completing 17 lessons? What would the level of Arabic be? So if a person completes the 17 lessons, they can read and write a good level of Arabic, and they can also start understanding how to understand the grammar in the Quran. Right. So if there's 10 levels of Arabic, once you've done 17 lessons, you've probably covered 3 or 4, I would say. I used to maintain my iman by going to the masjid and doing salah in congregation. Due to corona, all mosques are closed. I live alone and can't pray with others. I try to watch online Islamic classes, but it can't replace the attachment I had with the masjid. What should I do to keep my iman up? I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a difficult one, that is. I mean, maybe have some sort of like group, make some sort of like a group, WhatsApp group or something, where you have like-minded brothers who get together and who discuss things, and you can talk with them. I mean, it's very difficult times. I mean, it's unprecedented times. We've never had something like this in our lives before. So it's very difficult for me to kind of say what is the ideal thing to do. And you're right, definitely, it's hard. Do you like the government's approach to coronavirus? First of all, do I like the government? Forget asking me, do I like the government's approach to coronavirus? Do I like the government? I mean, I don't have to agree with everything the government does. I live in this country, so I have to do something. Do I agree with what the Saudi government has done? Close Umrah. Do I agree with what the American government has done? Do I agree with what Chinese government has done? Right? No one is really happy with what the governments do. Right? No one is really happy. But the point is that, look, is that we have to carry on with life. If we just spend our lives just criticizing governments the whole of our lives, we're not going to get anything done. So we have to carry on, and inshallah, we'll achieve what. Okay. I'm listening to your live stream. Have to say I'm surprised by moderator actions. Hope it can be resolved. Okay. Jazakallah khair. Okay, inshallah, moderator, MP, you're going to have to be a bit calm with that trigger. Yeah, delete trigger happy finger. Okay, so inshallah, it won't happen again, inshallah. Do you think there is more than meets the eye to coronavirus, e.g., was it man-made? I don't know. Could be man-made. Who knows? Allah knows. Poor bats are probably sitting there in their meetings, saying to each other, what's happening, man? Wagwan. All the world's attacking us, and all the world saying, Batman, look at Batman. Batman's probably upset. He's probably thinking, look, you're cussing my cousins. Yeah, you blame my cousins for all this coronavirus. I say, I'm not going to help you guys anymore. I'm not going to save Gotham City anymore. He only saves Gotham City. He doesn't save anyone else, does he? So yeah, man. Okay. What about hair dye for men, especially black? So wearing black, according to majority of Hanafis, it's not allowed for old men who have lots of white hair. Khan, do you have an all-time favorite student? One you have seen really take off and be successful? Maybe I have several. Yeah, I have several. Yeah, definitely I have several. Not maybe one. I think I have several. It's difficult to kind of have one. Me. I don't really have like one favorites. I have a class of favorites. Look at Mufti Jabir. He's a legend from Habib, and I love the Sufi vibe at the masjid. Not sure about 18-degree Fajr. Yeah, Mufti Jabir is my good friend. He's a good friend, mashallah. Khawla Mahmoud, Jazakallah khair. I will search for the Osha. Please make dua that I can make the right choice. Inshallah. Ameen. Sally Sabbath, are women allowed to use semi-permanent hair dye? Does it contain anything haram in there? Does it contain if it doesn't contain anything haram, it should be fine. Can you tell us the 15th of Sha'ban holds any significance? If not, 15th of Sha'ban, according to narrations, the only thing that we find authentic in narrations is the praying at night time. So that's something that's authentic. As for everything else, there's no authenticity in the fast of the 15th of Sha'ban. That's all I can say. Adib Yusuf, when As-sama or samawat is mentioned in the Quran, is it referring to the skies, the heavens? Is it referring to a difference? Yeah, so when the word sama is used in singular, and the samawat, good question this is, samawat. See, technically, what we don't know is, when we're reading the Quran and Allah talks about the natural phenomena in the universe, like the skies, space, the orbits, earth, mountains, etc. When Allah talks about the language that He uses, we don't 100% know exactly how He's referring to it. So imagine it like, for example, imagine like this. Imagine like you have never ever been to, let's say, a planet outside of the solar system. So outside the solar system, let's say there's a planet, and someone tells you that on this planet there are mountains, and on this planet there's these types of trees, and on this planet there's this water, and on this planet there's these types of creatures that live there, right, that look like humans. So in your mind, all you're going to be imagining is what you understand, isn't it? You're just going to understand your restricted understanding of that. So this is why when it comes to when Allah says sama and samawat, we're trying to reverse engineer. We're trying to figure out what is He talking about. When He says sama, is He talking about the sky we see above us, like the universe sky, or is He talking about some greater sky? And samawat, is He talking about the same sky, or is it a different realm, like a different dimension? We don't know. So it's all speculation of how we understand. So we know it means sky, and Allah says He's created the 7 skies, but what does the 7 skies apply to? We don't 100% know. Okay, Bima, I had other messages sent around stating that Muslims dying during Corona are martyrs. How is that? Yes, so it comes in narrations that the Prophet ﷺ has said that anyone who dies in an epidemic, an illness that spreads across the lands, that person will be counted as a shaheed. So they won't be the same as a martyr in the battlefield, but they're counted as a shaheed. It comes in narration. Okay, next. MP, I heard that the Deobandi masjids that were reluctant to close their masjids due to COVID and only did it after Boris announced it. Does this mean that they are reluctant to ijtihad themselves? So the issue is, I mean, I was thinking about doing like a video on this, right, explaining of how the different approach people have taken when it comes to fiqh in the modern era. Many, like for example, Deobandi scholars and many Brelvi as well, and Hanafis, they take an approach which is that they rely upon a few individuals in the world, and when they speak for all of them. So it's like when they speak, when they say something, and they come out with an opinion, then everyone else will automatically, like dominoes, everyone just follows. That's like one sort of like approach. And there's another approach in the Hanafi school, and so many Deobandis are on this, and many Brelvis as well, and others, and non-Deobandi Brelvis, they're on this as well, which is basically the scholars of that particular society, the experts of that society, they decide, and they can actually look at the situation. So the first group, the way that they do ijtihad is they have to find like a case that came in the historic books, fiqh books. So if they find a case that existed in the past, they extend the ruling from that into our society. So this is what they do. So they will only give a verdict if they can categorically find an example in the past where a mosque was closed because of a widespread illness. And because they were finding it difficult to find an example in the fiqh books, they were reluctant to give an answer. And that's like a very sort of like safe approach, like a very, very safe ihtiyat approach. Okay. The other group of scholars, they said, look, we don't need to find a case for every single thing. Yes, it's a good thing to find cases, but as long as we use general principles, so they followed the route of general principles, which was your health and the preservation of life is more important than worship. And it's given precedence, and they gave examples of that. So there's two basically approaches there, and these two approaches were found in the Sahaba as well. And I'll give you an example. When the Prophet ﷺ passed away, the Quran was not compiled in one book. It was written and it was memorized, but it was scattered. So everyone knew what the Quran was, but officially as a government, like a document, it wasn't recorded in a government document. So Umar radiallahu anhu, there was a battle called the Battle of Yamama, and lots of Sahabas, about 300 Sahaba, they died. So what happened was the Prophet ﷺ, he wasn't there obviously. Umar came to Abu Bakr and said, look, if you don't do anything, lots of people who have memorized the Quran in their hearts are going to die, and future generations might be without Quran, without a full Quran. So he said, Abu Bakr said, what should we do? So Umar said, I think you should get the whole Quran from everyone, compile it in official form, show it to everyone, and then carry on. Abu Bakr said, no, I'm not going to do that. How can I do something the Prophet ﷺ didn't do? So Umar said, look, I know the Prophet ﷺ didn't do it, but this is a big issue that we have to face. Like the Prophet ﷺ hasn't given us an explicit instruction here. Abu Bakr, he kept on telling Abu Bakr until Abu Bakr said, I understood what Umar was saying and it made sense to me. And Abu Bakr decided, right, officially we're gonna compile an official copy of the Quran, and we're gonna keep it officially. So even if people die, at least we have this, everyone can resort back to this. So this is the two approaches that were taken. So the first approach is like very, very reluctant to close the masjid, to close the Jum'ah, and they were saying we need an explicit cases from early Hanafi experts to be able to use here. And the other scholars, we don't need that. Does that make sense? Okay, is your course recommended for intermediate Arabic speakers or exclusive for beginners? So I mean, people who have done this course, many of them have been total beginners, and many of them have actually done Arabic before, but they've actually found the 17 lessons to be very consolidating, and it has like speeded up all their learning. It's made a lot of stuff make sense. Do you recommend traveling abroad for Islamic knowledge? Not necessarily. I mean, you can do it in whichever country you're in, as long as there's competent scholars there. But if there isn't, then yes, travel abroad. Is Asufa exams cancelled? No, they're not. Hagan, is it Hagan? Assalamu alaikum. If a married couple go back together as in sexual intercourse during the iddah before it's ended, does it count as one divorce? If a married couple, so if they're married and they have sexual intercourse, it's fine. I mean, do you mean divorced couple? Look up at that. Should we send kids madrasa from age 4, whereas I've heard Islamically formal education should start? No, no. This age 7 thing, I think, is just like based on society as well. Because if you look historically, I remember Imam Jahid, he mentions in one of his books, Al Bayan al Tabin, he mentions that because there was a gathering once with the Khalifa, and he goes, everyone gathered there, and they saw this little kid, and he was speaking to the Khalifa, and he was 4 years old, and the kid was mentioned that people are asking him fiqh questions, and he was answering them, and hadith questions, and tafsir questions, and all sorts of things. He goes, the gathering was so amazing until the child got on the floor and started stamping his feet, crying because he was hungry. So he was a kid at the end of the day, wasn't he? But he had this phenomenal, like, genius, like memory and knowledge, understanding. Yeah, he was like one of these kind of what do you call them? Talented, unique, genius kids. He was like that. So yeah, so lots of scholars in the past have started their studies from an early age. But generally, in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, it was roughly the Prophet ﷺ would say, look, start teaching them about Islam at 7. Like, don't delay after that, right? So it doesn't mean don't start before that. It's all on society. I mean, like for example, I've seen kids in Pakistan who are very, very mature for their age, 7-year, 8-year-olds. They'll be able to have a very good conversation with an adult. And in this society, the average 7, 8-year-old can't have a good conversation with adults, right? Because it's just the way that society is, and the culture, and the setup. Okay, what's the reasoning behind closing doors and windows after Maghrib? I don't know. I have no idea. Probably cold. My son asked, who is that on the screen? I said, it's a sheikh and he knows many things. He's asked, can you ask him how many planets there are? Okay, so there's Mercury, there's Venus, and there's Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. Is it Uranus, Neptune, Uranus? I don't know which order that is. Neptune, Uranus, and then Pluto. Is it still a planet, or has it been reinstated as a planet? I can't remember. Yeah, so I think there's 9. All the obstacles. Bye, I'm leaving. Okay, Ammar bin Ilyas. Mufti's best method to begin Quran Tarjuma and books to read on the side. Start the last 7 paras or from the beginning. I mean, if you mean for someone who's studying Arabic, I would say start from the beginning because it's easier. The last juz are quite difficult because you need to not just know Arabic, but you need to understand Arabic classical literature. Balari Ahmad, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. What is Islam say marriage of handicapped people? It's totally fine, permissible. As long as they can understand, as long as mentally they can understand what's happening around them. Make me moderator. Allahu Akbar. Idris Shah, shall I make you moderator? Chalo, we'll see, inshallah. We'll see if there's any problems in the future. We might have to change moderators. Inshallah, I'll be more careful from now on. Only delete trolls. Okay, Loida, Assalamu alaikum, Ustaz. Can I ask a question, please? My whole family is not Muslim and I'm a Riva, alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. Allah Akbar, guys. Loida's a Riva, alhamdulillah. My question is it okay for me to spend money on them and they buy haram food and celebrate haram? Yes, you can spend money on them, inshallah. Whatever they do with the money, that's up to them. Yeah, it's totally up to them. It's not your fault at all, inshallah. MashaAllah, may Allah keep you steadfast and strong in Islam. May Allah give you support in this dunya and the akhirah. Okay, MashaAllah, Sister Zahra. Assalamu alaikum. I would like to urge people to read dua kunut in their fard salat. I know it's allowed in Shafi fiqh, not sure in Hanafi fiqh. Hanafi fiqh, it's allowed in the Fajr. Yeah, in the Fajr. Bima Bays, my son Ayan would like to say Assalamu alaikum. He's sitting right next to me watching. Ayan, are you good? Are you happy? Is Bima your dad? Is Bima, I don't know your dad's name, but is dad giving you chocolates and crisps? If he's not, yeah, then tell him I told him that you're supposed to get chocolates and crisps from him this week, yeah? Get some good ones. Get something like some good crisps. What kind of good crisps are there? Do you like Space Raiders? We used to have Space Raiders before. Space Raiders. And remember those things called Weetos? I don't know if they still sell them. Weetos. Yeah. And they still got Skips, haven't they? Skips are nice. Or do they still have Skips? Okay. Okay. See some questions here. Okay, someone's saying, I thought I was your favorite student, Ustaji. Allahu Akbar. Allah, I am not Sufi, but I really feel I increase my spiritual listening to scholars like Hamza Yusuf. I'm scared to fall into some bid'ah. What's your advice for me? So yeah, so I mean, look, people should never be scared of falling into bid'ah. Yeah, because if a scholar is reliable and he's well known, and the people from around the world are giving him that scholar, this kind of like acceptability, then listen to him. I would say listen to him, alhamdulillah. And if you want to not fall into it, then you have to learn about Islam yourself. That's what I would say. Okay, where do you see yourself in 5 years, Mufti Sahib? Okay, so where do I see myself in 5 years? In 5 years, inshallah, I want this channel to grow. I want to have at least finished all of Nahu. I want to have finished Quduri. I want to have other people doing videos on this channel as well, and maybe start some other projects as well. Some other projects where we can extend things around the world. Maybe travel to different countries and set up similar projects over there. Have my own sort of like approach to teaching Islam, inshallah. Can we shave under the beard, the neck, and the Adam's apple? Yes, you can. Can I hit my son who is 9 and doesn't pray? I mean, Islamically you can hit, but I think by the law of maybe the country you're in, you might not be able to. Just don't hit him too hard. Yeah, as long as you don't bruise, as long as you don't, hit the face. Okay, all those questions. One more left. I was praying Fajr in Muslim student house mosque in Birmingham before Isha, and they were making dua against Corona during the Fard Salah. Is my Salah acceptable? Yes, it's acceptable. Okay. Okay, Sally, no haram ingredients that I know of. Just semi-perm coats and it sits on. Yeah, it's fine. Totally fine. Yeah, even if it's permanent, it's fine. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ayan, darling. Oh, Allahu Akbar. Okay, so I don't know who is Ayan, darling. Okay, he said Alhamdulillah. Shaqim, alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.Eskhan, the closing doors at Maghrib due to shayateen spreading out. So this hadith with regards to the Prophet ﷺ saying close the doors and things, this could have been in Medina. There could have been something there, and the Prophet ﷺ was telling people to close the doors and windows. So we don't know if it's for all times. Scholars say most likely it was for the times of Medina. There was something around in Medina at that time, and the Prophet ﷺ was giving them like guidelines, general guidelines. Okay, Nads Al Mubarak, Allahu Akbar. YouTube emoji, Allahu Akbar. How do you do that? Also, what is Kunut Nazila and when is it read? So Kunut Nazila is basically, according to Hanafis, it's read in Fajr. So when a big calamity affects the Muslims, after Fajr, in Fajr Salat, in the second rakat, after you've prayed and you go into ruku and you get up, you make dua to Allah. Yeah, so you make dua to Allah in Arabic, and that's it. So in that dua, you basically ask Allah for help. And the Prophet ﷺ, he done this when the Prophet ﷺ, the group of people came to Medina, and they were like fake, basically. They were gonna ambush Muslims. They wanted to kind of trap them. So they said to the Prophet, send us some of your teachers. And 60 teachers, or 70 teachers, the Prophet ﷺ sent, who he had trained to go to these villages to teach Islam. And halfway there, they realized it was an ambush, and they surrounded them and slaughtered all of them except for one. Yeah, and the Prophet ﷺ, he made dua, and he was dua qunut. That was the first time he made dua qunut in the Fajr. How are the shopping trips for you? Is there anything you are not able to find, and how? No, I mean, I'm not too fussed about shopping. So just the usual, I just get my bread, get milk, eggs, tea bags. I got loads of tea bags. And yeah, just meat, I can just get down the road. So it's not really a big problem in that sense. Crisps, I got loads of crisps and chocolates. Yeah, so be my son. If you need chocolates and crisps, I got loads. Yeah. Shaqim, I want. And how do you find it, Hussein? Are you finding problems? I suppose if you have kids, then it's gonna be problems in it, because you got to get lots of other stuff. I don't have any kids, so I'm befikr. I once had a strange dream. Sheikh, an old man came in my dream and was smiling at me, and he was bathed in light like aura and wearing white cloth. Sound like a good dream? Yeah, seeing these kind of things is a good sign. Maybe, I don't know, you were going through some problems in your life at that time and you saw this dream. Is it true that Ahlul Sunnah are Asharis, Maturidis, and Athar? I heard Salafis say Asharis and Maturidis are not. So yeah, so this is a big topic. Yeah, so I don't really have time now to kind of go into the whole of this, and I've mentioned it many times before. But the whole issue of Aqidah and the different sort of like approaches in Aqidah, this is a very historic thing, and it's just, it'll take me about 15-20 minutes to explain. So maybe inshallah another time, inshallah I can discuss that. Lloyd, Ameen, Jazakallah khair. Sheikh, answer your questions. May Allah, Ameen, 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 Ameen. And I hope I pronounced your name right as well. I probably said your name wrong. Anyway, Jazakumullah khair, guys. Jazakumullah khair. If you haven't pressed like, go on, I suggest you guys press like now. And if you haven't subscribed, press subscribe. Is anyone new here today? Is there anyone new that is watching? Yeah, toasted grasshoppers. Yeah, you know what? I'm missing them, you know. I get cravings. I guess like it's kind of like, you know, there's phantom cravings. I did my shopping a few weeks ago, but it got crazy out there. Just local now for bread. Yeah, that's the main thing. It's best just to stay away from these crowds, man. I mean, I see videos and people send me things about mad, especially like in Asian supermarkets. It's like, I mean, so many people in my area that I'm living in. Just today, a case of family, like 2 people died. Another 3 people have just been taken by the ambulance. And it's just crazy, man. And people are not taking it seriously. And now all these kind of like problems are starting to come now. The people are being infected, and they were the illness was incubating inside of them. So, you know, may Allah protect us. I cannot get over that. Allahu Akbar. Okay, so anybody new here? First time? Any first timers here? And any Americans? Oh, quite echo. Second time. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Do you want kids imam? Inshallah. Inshallah. Yes, why not? Make dua, inshallah. Make dua. Alhamdulillah. It's all in the hands of Allah. End of the day, look, kids are in the hands of Allah. Allah says in the Quran, لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. For Allah belongs the skies and what's in the earth. يَهَبُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ إِنَاثًا وَيَهَبُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ ذُكُورًا أَوْ يُزَوِّجُهُمَا ذُكْرَانًا وَإِنَاثًا وَيَجْعَلُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ عَقِيمًا. So it's up to Allah. If Allah wants to give someone male children or female children, or give them children, not even give them children. The wives of the Prophet ﷺ had no children from him apart from Khadija radiallahu anha. So, you know, it's just something which is part and parcel of the dunya. I mean, there might be some people, you guys, who don't have children. It's in the hands of Allah. Alhamdulillah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He rewards people, gives some people some things, doesn't give some people some things. We just gotta, you know, get on with life, inshallah. Okay, Palari Ahmad. Yeah, Sheikh, I'm living in Italy near Milano. Oh, situation is very bad here. My family told me to stay home, but I have feeling to go out and help people as volunteer. What would you suggest? What I would suggest is as long as you don't have any sort of problems, medical problems, and you're not going to affect anyone else in your family, then I would say it would be a very honorable thing to go and help needy people, inshallah. Very honorable. As long as you don't have underlying medical problems, or when you go back home, you're not going to possibly infect anyone else. Yeah, just be careful of that. I'm really struggling to start the Arabic lessons. Just can't learn from a recorded video. Yeah. Some people do find that. So I mean, you're just gonna need some sticks in it. You're gonna need some sticks. Okay, Tatal, what's your hair routine? Hair routine is basically I just get my hair, I just tie it up, and that's it. It's done. So washing it, probably wash it once a week with shampoo. Otherwise, just wash it with water. Sally, Jazakallah khair. I was previously told by other Deobandi alim semi-perm was not allowed as water wouldn't penetrate. How can there be such disparity? No, I mean, from my reading of the Hanafi books, see, the Hanafi books basically say anything that is a crust, creates a crust over the skin or the hair, is not allowed. So, you know, if some people, when they put like mendi on their hair, don't know what you mendi is, henna, and it becomes crusty when it dries up, right, before you wash it out. That becomes a crust, so therefore water can't permeate. So I don't know. I mean, what's the delil for it? Do they have a reason? Do they have a text or something that says Beamer Based Productions? I have so many questions that I would like more informative for me. How do I get around this? I'm still on lesson 1. Are you on the group? Are you on any of the groups? So if you're on the group, ask on the group, and hopefully the TA will help. If it's the brothers group, TA, and the sisters group, TA, and if it's the brothers group, then I'm on the group as well, and I can help inshallah as well. Sally, thanks for your time. You're welcome. Quiet Echo, is there a specific time you go live? I live in America, so I go live 9 p.m. UK time. By the way, guys, time's changing, yeah. England time, talking about England time, 1 hour is changing, yeah. So make sure you fix your clocks. But yeah, normally UK time, 9 p.m. UK time. Hi, Hussein, Jazakallah khair with the sub. I enjoyed watching this session with my stick man. Allah. So say hello. You know, I was thinking, what do you guys think if I make like a show with my stickmen? I've seen some people, they do like a whole series, don't they? Like a show with stickmen. Yeah, maybe I can do some like acting skills with my stickmen. Okay. Okay. What's next? What's your opinion on the book Asan Lughatul Quran? Asan Lughatul Quran. I don't know, I don't think I've seen it. I'll have to see it. Asan, is it Urdu? Is it a translation of Lisan al-Quran? S. Khan, where are all your kids, Ustad? Don't worry. We all, Allahu Akbar, all your students are your kids. Watch, see. Okay, if you guys are all my kids, yeah, all of you, yeah, I'm gonna ground you, all you guys. Yeah, I want to check all your homeworks. Make sure you've done all your homeworks. Okay, even as ugly fat ones are your bache. Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Yeah, and the ugly fat ones, yeah, I'm going to start making you guys do exercise. You're going to have to follow that 800,000 viewer exercise guy, whatever his name is, PE teacher. Ahmad Kathir. Why do you think some of the biggest Arabic linguists ended up being Mu'tazilites? I don't know, I think it's because, you see, language is very, very mathematical. Mu'tazilis were very mathematical people, very, very logical. So language, usul fiqh. So generally you find scholars who are experts in usul fiqh who are experts in language as well. So you'll find a lot of them being Mu'tazili inclined, and that's why even Shafi usul fiqh is known as Mu'tazili fiqh, usul fiqh. So I think it's very mathematical. Arabic language is extremely mathematical. It's very precise, and the outcome is always predictable. So it's a good question. If I wear eyeliner that is not waterproof, then is it okay to just do wudu over it? Yes, it's totally fine. Yeah. Why do some people find Yahya ibn something causing hadiths and not reliable, like Abu Layth doesn't take his hadiths? Yahya bin something. I don't know. Yahya bin something could be anyone. So if you can be more specific, because there's many Yahya bins. Yeah. I can start calling you Dada. Bhai, you wanna call me Dada? Yeah, there's a fee for it. Yeah, you need to bring me every Eid, bring me a suit, bring me a tie. This can't be Dada like that. Call one stickman Zaid and one Khalid Amr. Yeah, good idea actually. Yeah, let me know. I might try. Give it a pilot. Pilot show, Netflix pilot show. I don't know. Next Netflix might phone me and say they want because Messiah series I heard has been cancelled. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna have to make something to replace it. Okay, Daraba Zaid Khalid. Sufyan, your opinions are very relevant to current times and environment. Our old school Deobandi Hanafi schools are very dated and almost Indo-Pak culture, even though I respect the alims. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, and we respect scholars, we respect their opinions, we try our best to kind of like get on with everyone. Yeah. Don't receive last lessons recording. Oh yeah, didn't I send? Yeah, totally forgot, Totally forgot. I'll send it inshallah after this session. Okay, Beamer Based Productions. Your thoughts on singing like Mahir Zain and Ahmad Hussein? Is it permissible? I mean, singing is fine. The issue is with the instruments. Yeah, issue with the instruments. Their voices are very nice. I like listening to them. Instruments is a bit of like a dubious area. Anyway, guys, I would like to stay longer and enjoy this nice majlis with you guys. My tea has become very cold, so my bacche, yeah, especially the fat ugly ones, can you please go and make me some tea, bhai? This is what parents want kids for. Khidmat. Yeah, you're legging it now, yeah. Everyone starts legging it when I say, "Bhai, do khidmat for me." Okay, like in madrasa and growing up, we learn fatwas about what we do if a dead bird fell in the well, etc. For lay people like myself, become very narrow-minded and program this question is refreshing. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. May Allah accept all. May Allah put barakah in our times and efforts, and may Allah give us understanding. Alhamdulillah. I bought some medicine. My wife has been asleep for a while. I bought some medicine. Are you sure it was medicine? Are you sure it was not like some sleeping potion you gave to your wife? Should knock her out. Yeah, because your wife's going to be watching this later on, yeah? I will continue to slip it tea every week, 8:45 p.m. inshallah. Yeah, make sure you put your clocks back as well, yeah? Or forward or whatever it is. Is it missing 1 hour? Or is it extra hour? Do we get miss an hour or do we extra hour? Okay, anyway, no one asked for a book to review, yeah? I'm going to show you guys a book. So this is a book given to me by my very good friend Maulana Muawiyah. So Maulana Muawiyah is Mufti Abdul Samad's son in Blackburn. He's a teacher over there. So he has written a whole series of books, and this is one Diwan Imam Shafi'i. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, Diwan Imam Shafi'i. And he's actually even put the picture that I actually put on my one. Yeah, Allahu Akbar. So this is Diwan Imam Shafi'i, and this is he does a lot of English sort of kind of book. So I'll just show you the inside of it. So if you look at this, let's see if I can show you guys. Yes. So this is his book. So you can kind of like go through it. I'll try to contact him, see if where you can get it from. If you guys want like to order them or something. Yeah. So you basically like. Let me just show you guys. So in the beginning, he goes through a bit about the bahars, like the poetic meters. Yeah, poetic meters. He goes through those awzan al-abiyat, and then so there's a whole section on there, and then he goes through poems, and he breaks them down in English for those English lovers. Yeah. Yeah. So إذا أنت أكرمتك ملكته. So he kind of applies the poetic meters. So here, for example, like he does the poem. Yeah, he goes through the poem. أتحزأ بالدعاء وتزدريه, and then he brief translation. Yeah, and then he kind of like has a word analysis as well. That's how he does it. So poem, brief explanation, word analysis as well. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, very, very nice. So I haven't gone through all of it, but it looks very nice to me. Very nice and very systematic. MashaAllah. Muawiyah's doing a wonderful job in Blackburn. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. So all you guys in Blackburn, you guys should benefit from Maulana Muawiyah, and this is a a very good work that he's done. May Allah bless his works, efforts, put barakah in his time as well. Anyway, let's just see what you guys are saying. May Allah grant us these gatherings in Jannah. Ameen, Ameen. May He reward you immensely for all the efforts, inshallah. Ameen. On the day of judgment, inshallah. That's the one we want. Inshallah, I will come down and interview you. Yeah, but don't bring coronavirus, yeah, after the coronavirus. Yeah, oh yeah, that was you. Okay, yeah. Can a non-Sahaba be more higher in rank than a companion? In suhbat, in fadl, no. In virtue, no. But in other things, possibly, yes. Yeah, in fatwa, possibly. Maulana Muawiyah. Yeah. Me, okay, nice heart there. Someone was saying Uwais al-Qarni is higher rank than some Sahaba. Wallahu alam. Wallahu alam. I think Maktabat al-Bushra published his books now, if I'm correct. Oh, do they? Okay, interesting. This is nice. Bima, inshallah, I will come to an interview with you, inshallah. What's the book called again? So this book is Diwan of Imam Shafi'i. Yeah, with Arabic. Is it? I don't know how you say this word. Prosody. Jazakumullah khair. I really enjoyed this session. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to benefit from you. Ameen. Jazakallah khair. So guys, today we got 50 guys. Where's the Americans? Quickly, Americans, tell us you're here before I go. Have you ever come to Malaysia? No, I haven't come to Malaysia, but I would really love to come to Malaysia. I have many friends in Malaysia who studied with us in Pakistan. But no, I haven't come to Malaysia, but inshallah, maybe in the future we can meet up, inshallah. Bima, I'm fine, don't want to do an interview. Alright guys, so jazakumullah khair, mashallah. Okay, so alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Jazakallah khair for your time, and once again, Sufyan, Jazakallah khair, thank you very much. I love seeing you here. Assalamu alaikum, Tahir, Muftisab. Oh, Tahir from Coventry. Allah, who's the publisher of that D1, please? The publishers are, I think it's Madrasa Jamiatul Ilm wal Huda. The Madrasa themselves. They publish their own books. Is origami permissible? Yeah, it should be. Yeah. Bima, Bays. I mean, the problem is I can't see. I mean, unless you're really, really good at it, I don't see any sort of like issue. Brother, you bring so much inspirations. You need to online every day. Allahu Akbar, Allah. Yeah, I'll probably die. I'll probably end up dying in front of the screen. They'll probably, what's it? The coroner will have to come and take me off the screen. Why did he die for? Oh, he died because too much live streaming. Okay. Jazakallah khair, Bima. Quiet echo. America, Minnesota. Oh yeah, Americans. Now, how does Minnesota does an accent? I have no idea how people in Minnesota do an accent, but I will try my best to do my version of the Minnesota accent. So here goes. Thank you very much. Quiet echo. Yeah. Angela Smith. Yeah. Angela Smith. Yeah. Said Kamar Zaman, USA, Texas. Howdy. Yeehaw. Tahir Hussein. Jazakallah khair wa iyakum. Bima, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. USA, Alabama, yeah. I think us British, yeah, we're just messed up in the head. We think all Americans speak the same. Yeah, we can't tell the difference between American accent and Canadian accent, but I can't. I find it very difficult to differentiate. Yeah, and before someone says, how come you big up all the Americans all the time? Yeah, shut up. So, Jazakumullah khair, guys. MashaAllah, it was a very nice session today. And I'm just thinking, shall I read a poem of Imam Shafi to you guys? Yeah. My American accent is much worse than... Your American accent is much worse than your Urdu accent. Allah, that's a praise, that is. That's an undercover praise. Chalo, I'll take it as a praise. Yeah, and I will speak more American. Al-waqt mutaakhir. Naam, sahih. And we're kind of similar to Canadians. Yeah, it sounds very similar. Okay, so there's a good poem. I'm going to tell you this poem here. It's not a love poem or anything here before any of you guys get excited. It's a friendship poem because you guys are my friends. Well, according to many of you, my bache as well. So, okay, so this is a poem Imam Shafi says about friends. He says, وَأَكْثِرْ مِنَ الْإِخْوَانِ مَا اسْتَطَعْتَ إِنَّهُمْ بُطُونٌ إِذَا اسْتَنْجَدْتَهُمْ وَظُهُورٌ وَلَيْسَ كَثِيرًا أَلْفٌ لِوَاحِدٍ وَإِنَّ عَدُوًّا وَاحِدًا لَكَثِيرٌ. وَأَكْثِرْ, meaning increase من الإخوان, your brothers, increase your number of your friends you have. ما استطعت, as much as you can. Why? إنهم بطون, because these are very close allies. Like button, it means like, which is your belly, something that's very close to you. إذا استنجدتهم, استنجد, it means to seek help, نصر. إذا استنجدتهم, when you seek their help. وظهور, yeah, so they are close to you and they become apparent. So they are close to you, and when you need help, they come out. وَلَيْسَ كَثِيرًا أَلْفٌ لِوَاحِدٍ. So in other words, having 1,000 friends is not a lot. Yeah, you guys today were 50, how many? 51, 52? That's not a lot according to Imam Shafi. You guys are not a lot. وَلَيْسَ كَثِيرًا أَلْفٌ لِوَاحِدٍ. So having alf is not kathir for one person. Having 1,000 friends is not kathir for one person. وَإِنَّ عَدُوًّا وَاحِدًا لَكَثِيرٌ. And having an enemy, one enemy, is a lot. So having a lot of friends is never a lot. You can never have enough friends, basically. And enemies, one is just too much. Yeah, one is too much. So أكثر من الإخوان ما استطعت إنهم بطون إذا استنجدتهم وظهور وليس كثيرا ألف لواحد وإن عدوا واحدا لكثير. Check that out, guys. Check that out. Eat your heart out, Rumi. Eat your heart out, Ghazali. Yeah. Anyway, Jazakallah khair, guys. Thank you very much. MashaAllah. It was a very lovely session we had again today. Yeah, I think all of this isolation and kind of being cut off from the world, this creates that kind of, with obviously my, my American accents. And Americans, I know you guys all love my American accent. Yeah, so but chalo, it's not always Eid, so I can't speak American all the time. So Jazakallah khair, guys. And any last comments anyone wants to make before we finish, before we call it a day? Alhamdulillah. Questions on Curious Cat are becoming less and less every week. I think it's because I try to answer a lot of them there and then. I just knock them off. Yeah, knock off those questions. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, so take care, guys. Be good, yeah. Stay indoors. Listen to Boris. Listen to Boris. And make sure, you protect your families as well, the vulnerable ones. And those who are obviously more likely to kind of get ill. And like I told you guys, I think I had it already. Yeah, I think I was ill. Yeah. So, and I got over it. So Alhamdulillah, I'm the one. I'm the one that has survived. Jazakallah khair. Alright, guys, take care, inshallah. Remember your du'as, and I will see you guys next time. What I might do, by the way, is tomorrow evening I might do, last week I tried to do the reading class. Yeah, for those who want to read, it's free of charge, and you just come online and you read, and it's going to be online live. So I'm thinking of doing one tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow evening. So hopefully just keep an eye out on social media, and I'll because it was a technical issue I had trying to sort out the screen, how to load the screen. But now I've sorted that out, alhamdulillah. So now all I need now is to just test it. So hopefully tomorrow, inshallah, I'm gonna try again. So those of you guys who want to read, some of you guys who are practicing Arabic but you guys want to read to someone and get your mistakes taken out, inshallah, I'm going to help you with that, inshallah. So it's just going to be 5-minute slots. So you read for 5 minutes and I correct your mistakes and then just carry on. So anyway, Jazakumullah khair, guys. Take care, inshallah. Remember your du'as. MashaAllah, Dr. Maulana Harun Sidat is here. Guys, if you guys don't know, check his channel out, yeah. Dr. Maulana Harun Sidat is the top guy, yeah. Blackburn. Again, another amazing Blackburn scholar. Check him out. And if you guys don't check him out, your rishta with me is over. Yeah. Your rishta with me is over if you don't check him out. Yeah, finish. I'm not your father anymore. Spiritual father, yeah. I'm not your your grandfather. Spiritual grandfather, yeah. Alright, take care inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.